ya? Or did we treat ya another ghouling goblin?
Happy Halloween.
We weren't so sure we were going to do this, but me and Murray woke up this morning. We both look out our windows at me and Murray have the same internal clock. We wake up and we fall asleep at the exact same time.
Yeah.
We both woke up. We both stretched our legs. We thrusted our dicks at the sun because, of course, we both sleep nude, Alex Trebek style.
Gotta tan my balls.
That's right. And we look out the window. No sun. Where's our sun?
It's just a big bank of fog.
Wow. So we're thinking we don't need to treat our fans. We need to treat our brains. Let's just record one episode, release it. No more Ghouling Goblin Theater for another year.
Well, I mean, there is a little bit of a reward for, because what do you call it? Halloween. That was a big success for us. I was surprised. Usually, you guys take the month off when we do October.
I know we have so many horror fans out there, but when we do our horror months,
and by the way, if you're just a horror fan, stick with the action. We're good at that too.
Oh yeah,
we'll turn you into action fans.
We will.
But yeah, so we got to. Originally, I wanted to do Kiss Me's the Fan of the Amusement Park, but I'm like, with all this fog talk lately, it behooves us to do John Carpenter's The Fog.
It just so happens that we're educating the youth, we're
saving lives.
And look,
no, don't call us heroes.
No, please don't.
We're just giving back.
No, we're no Jordan Peterson. We're not that intelligent. That guy is a fucking crazy.
We don't
genius.
Cry at the drop of a hat either, like Jordan does. Constantly.
We definitely
don't. We don't have hot daughters, and we don't want to fuck them.
And look, I mean, we like women of all shapes and sizes, unlike Jordan Peterson. He likes one type of woman, a woman who shrimps.
Skinny blonde,
shrimper.
That's usually his type.
Oh yeah, you know that he's a simp just by the way he cries. He wants a woman to completely dominate him. Because he gets out all of his frustrations.
What's his background? Is he rich? Because that's a very like waspy kind of thing, like the skinny blonde. That's like the ideal of rich white world. The beauty ideal is a skinny white girl with blonde hair. His background
is supposed to be intellectual. He worked in like a Canadian college. He's supposed to be some super educated professor.
Well, yeah, then he would be making money.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was always.
He would be at home in Rochester eating the fucking breadsticks, dipping it in the Italian dressing.
Just getting the Italian dipping sauce. Guys, do you know how many breadsticks I buy here every week? And then he would start crying, of course.
Crying, dressing.
And maybe Murray won't agree with me. It's fine to cry, but when you're going to the pizza store crying over not getting Italian sauce, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You need to help yourself.
Never cry in public.
You need to take your own advice and clean your fucking room. There's probably dressing all over your room. There's probably fucking raw shrimp.
That's why it's called a dressing room.
I think he is I probably shouldn't make that accusation if this is going to be on YouTube. Never mind. Sorry, scratch that.
We're on double secret probation with
Double
YouTube.
Secret probation.
But our episodes are going to be coming up that we promised you, so look for those.
Yeah, you look for those. They should be going up right now.
I mean, if you're listening, you probably have already listened to a million times, but it's a whole different experience when you're doing it on YouTube because there's one picture.
Also, there's one picture that I single-handedly picked up. In my Howling 2 picture, I haven't showed you yet. I want you to see it just so you can be like, Griff.
Is it Stirba? Or is it Rob?
Oh, of course it's Sirba.
Okay.
It's her with the fucking shades in her throne, leg up, servants beside her. Amazing. I had to resist getting, it's Christopher Lee, right?
That's called clickbait, but yeah.
That is clickbait. And I know that disappoints a lot of people, but fuck you. All right? Yeah. I have to have fun with this too.
Right.
You know, this is a fun endeavor for the two of us.
People can't stop talking about the hot takes you've been having on your horror movies, your 31 Days of Horror. Do you have one last batch for us?
So, if you count it up, no, I don't have all 31 for you right now. Because as you pointed out a couple weeks ago, you're like, how the fuck do you watch a movie a day and do this show?
Yeah.
It is actually impossible.
Yeah, it is.
So I didn't double book myself.
I mean, there was the moment I'm like, could we do also a horror podcast? No, we can't. It's hard enough just to do one movie a week.
If we lived closer and you could just pop in and we could do something simple.
Have Mike on all the time.
Or have somebody to influence us like Mike would, just coming in with his fucking tall boy of water. We would have a lot of fun.
Death water or whatever.
Death water. Liquid death is that.
So it's like from Mexico.
It's
from Flint. That was for you, Matt.
That was a good one right there. So you do get 7 more movies today. One of them is the topic at hand.
Okay.
But yes, Murray, for the first time, we're going to have a failing movie. And I'm going to save it for last.
I hope you're not going to trash another classic.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to save it for last because when I tell you about this movie, maybe you've heard of it. It is the worst fucking shit ever. And
Is it Near Dark?
No. I know you.
Another hot take. Griff despises Near Dark. I know the people on the Twitterverse are gnashing their teeth. Griff hates it. I've never seen it. I think I would be in the mid-range. I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't hate it. I would be like,
I'm curious now because this is lore baked into the comic book Friends.
This goes back 5 years.
So I would love it. The only way I want to do that, though, is if we can get Mr. Yacht Rock Sean on himself.
Him? Oh, yeah, because he did like it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would be kind of like I'd be like the ref because I'd be like, I'm pure of spirit. I've never seen this. I'm aware of it, but I don't really know.
That's where the controversy started because I did my first 31 days of horror. I did Near Dark. I came in and said, this movie is the fucking worst. And he was just like, that's one of my favorite
That's
movies.
why he doesn't talk. By the way, if you don't know, is it Hair Rock Sean or Yacht Rock? What mood is he in at this moment?
It just doesn't matter. You never know.
He's the guy who designed Frank Grills for us.
Yes.
I gotta talk to him because I want a new Frank Grills logo. So I gotta get in touch with him.
We gotta get in touch.
If you're
with
listening,
him.
Sean. So
we probably can't sit him down for Near Dark, where I'm gonna be very bitter because it's been a few years, but maybe I still hate it. So anyways, without further ado, we have our first fucking failing grade for this month of movies. I've had so many good ones. I have a couple more classics in here. I have a lot of B's in here. I have a couple of C's. But anyways, we'll go on.
Did you give an A to any movie this month?
Yes. I gave an A, let's see, to Psycho.
Okay.
That's a classic, and I really enjoyed that one.
There's a tie to Psycho in this movie, which we'll get into.
I gave a modern movie from the A24 crew, X. I gave that one an A- because it was a modern movie. It was under 90 minutes, or right at 90 minutes, and it wasn't super annoying. There was a lot of things that were just okay about it, but 90-minute modern movie? Anyways. And
did you know that I think we touched on it, but we didn't record it last week?
Maybe.
We were talking about that movie Terrifier 2, about the clown.
Yes.
That's over 2 hours long.
No, thank you.
Yeah. No horror movie should be over 90 minutes.
No, you're like horror is. I don't think of it as that genre unless you're doing like Rosemary's Baby.
Horror and comedy. You can't have it longer. It wears out its welcome after 90 minutes.
Yes, exactly. Like you're not
only times you can laugh, and only times you can be scared.
Right. So that's trouble. But this is actually on topic. We were just talking about this a minute ago because we're going to have Jamie Lee Curtis as a rich white girl hitchhiker. Oh. And my other movie with an A this month was Road Games. Oh, yeah. Love that movie. Really can't recommend it enough. Everyone should go watch it. I'm burping. So last week we were talking to Mike. We were asking what Universal monster is my favorite. I didn't know, but I said maybe the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So you know what I did? I went and watched Creature of the Black Lagoon. And I gave it a solid B+. Really enjoyed it.
Saw that in 3D as a kid.
Yeah, this was taken down from the 3D, of course, but all that.
Great design for a monster.
Great design. Really enjoyed it. All the underwater, all the murky, all the underwater fog.
I'm glad you brought that up because I asked our Twitter's people what they thought, what their favorite classic monster was. I gave them the choices of Dracula, Frankenstein. Of course, someone had to correct me and go, it's Frankenstein's monster.
Fuck off!
Wolfman and the Creature from the... Gillman is what he's known as.
Okay.
Creature from the... And it was very close. I always love to see... I hate, runaways. I don't like see, somebody get blown out.
Yeah.
It was close. And the winner was Dracula.
Dracula, okay.
I'm a Wolfman guy. He's my favorite. And he almost came in first. So my wolf pack was sticking with me for a while, but fucking Dracula.
I still have, 2 or 3 movies left. Should I go for a Wolfman original?
I don't know. See, this is the problem. I just like the idea of werewolves. There's not very many good werewolf movies. It was weird how 2 of the most classic ones came out in the same year. The Howling and American Werewolf in London came out in the same year, and those are probably 2 of the most well-known classic werewolf movies. Yeah. I like both of them.
But, they're both really good.
Yeah, and that asks the question: what do you prefer? Do you prefer the Wolfman, like he's like a man, or do you like the werewolf? Like American Werewolf in London, it's a giant wolf.
Yeah.
It's not a man. I prefer Wolfman.
I think I like the Wolfman, the upright, the bipedal instead of the
quadrupedal. It looks more monstrous. I mean, the American Werewolf and London Wolf looks cool. I like it.
The transformation scene is fucking great.
Oh,
too.
both of them are. Both of them, Howling and American Werewolf in London, are classic.
So good.
Now your movies.
So, Creature of the Black Lagoon gets a nice B+. Love the character tension and everything. I love the white man, Manifest Destiny.
I haven't seen it in so long. Do they kill him?
They think they do, but they end up they're trying to remove...
Well, there was a sequel.
Because the Creature of the Black Lagoon creates like a dam for the boat to not be able to escape, and they just basically get him away so they can clear the dam and get back on their boat and leave. But there's great tension between the characters. You got the attractive young white woman who wants to get her scientist boyfriend to marry her because, of course, it's shot in those eras.
That movie inspired the Best Picture award winner. I forget what it's called. It's about that woman who wanted to fuck the girl man.
That was a good movie. I don't remember what it's called. That was Del Toro or whatever.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
He definitely is a shrimper.
Oh, definitely. He's probably eating shrimp while he's directing.
Oh, my God. That was a good movie, though. I really did
Bring me your feet.
He was sucking toes for most of the season. I know Princess has dealt with Johns like that. Yeah. Love tension between the characters. Really good, like white people just being like, this is ours now.
Destroying the environment.
Exactly. So really enjoyed it. I went to Japan 1997 for this movie called Cure.
Never heard of it.
It was pretty awesome. I really like the build-up for the story.
Is it about the band The Cure?
Nope.
Okay.
It is not. So
That's horrifying.
The whole idea of it is this quiet, mysterious character comes along and basically allows people, hypnotizes them, and allows them to fulfill their deepest, like, darkest secret kind of thing. And so, for instance, one character, he felt like he was held back by his wife. This character just kind of drifts into his world. They help him out.
So what? He hypnotizes you to give you the balls to do what you've always wanted to do?
Exactly.
But you're still liable for the repercussions.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay.
So, like, in the first scene, you see this guy. He meets him. He welcomes into his house, completely out of his mind and everything. So he's talking to him. He's like, no, tell me about your wife. That's, like, the most words you get out of him. And then he sets down a Zippo with the fire flickering in front of him. And next thing you know, the guy's jumping out of his window, the husband, and he's killed his wife. So they wake up realizing, oh shit, I did that thing. And then they have to, free themselves of it and all that. But good movie. 2 hours, but the build-up was really good. It had a good pace to it and everything. Didn't feel like 2 hours, so nice solid B there. And this is where we get into some good old Christopher Lee action. Okay. Devil Rides Out.
Yeah, he's a good guy in that one. Right?
He is a good
Which
guy.
Which is rare, Christopher Lee appearance.
And he is like hardcore, speaking Latin. I'm going to tell you all about Catholic
You got
shit.
the cool looking like goat guy, the devil comes?
Yes.
I've seen that.
And he's trying to save like a friend. He's getting into that highfalutin, adrenochrome drinking, sex occult, demon worshipping lifestyle. And he's like, no, I have to save you, brother.
I have to save you.
But of course his brother doesn't want to be saved. So it's like the constant battle of like, no, I got to lure you away from this fucking...
It's got the giant tarantula, right? They're in like the circle.
Yes, there's a giant tarantula, yeah. But Christopher Lee, fucking great. Love him. But he's got his
great
friend
voice.
Rex in this movie. And Rex he's just going along with it. And Christopher Lee's just like, punch that guy in the mouth. And Rex like, yes. And Rex is just going around punching people, fighting people. Christopher Lee, in one scene, they interrupt the whole fucking seance. He's driving in circles, slinging mud everywhere. Rex is hanging out, punching people. Fantastic. Really enjoyed that. Solid B movie. Next, we go on to another Christopher Lee movie with sex occult type shit. Called The Crimson Cult.
I saw that a couple years ago. I don't remember it, though.
This one...
There's a green woman, right?
There is a green woman.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Murray would really enjoy it. You need to watch it again because you're always like, what's a wet dream? When you're off mic, you're constantly...
Tell me about it.
You're like, go into a nice, what is it called? Lucid dream and tell me all about the
I've
wet
never
dream.
had one, people. I don't believe them.
This movie... will show you what a wet dream looks like. Okay. This is what I see when I wet dream.
Okay.
You got demonic blue women with giant tits and voluptuous, everything you've ever imagined. Did I mess that up?
Yeah, it's voluptuous. Voluptuous is the hot version. Flumptuous is like the saggy, baggy
Oh,
version.
okay.
No,
You know the one I mean.
Yeah, flumptuous isn't a word.
Oh, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But of course, and then she's got the goat head, and when you move in closer, her vagina is actually like a reptile and it eats your penis or something. And
Wow,
that's what
for a
gets you off.
60s Christopher Lee movie, they did
But I
vagina monster.
wanted to watch this movie because I was like, I want to watch a Boris Karloff movie. And he...
Boris Karloff.
Did I fuck that up,
Boris
dude?
Karloff.
Karloff, excuse me.
Well, Frankenstein would be the one if you really wanted to watch.
I know. I wanted to watch something else because I didn't want to do another Universal monster for just variety. And
he did he's not the star of it, but the one Roger Corman's had Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, The Raven. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's not really a horror movie. I think Jack Nicholson's in it too.
Oh, interesting. So there's a nice Boris Karloff joke in there where someone goes, next thing you know, Boris Karloff's going to show up. He goes up to the master bedroom. Boris Karloff's in there.
Karloff, but yeah.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Not his real name.
Interesting.
He's an English guy. It's Ian something.
His eye acting with those eyebrows?
Yeah.
Amazing. Off the fucking charts. Great. So good.
Well, he had to with playing Frankenstein because he was limited. He couldn't really speak.
So there was a lot happening here that was pretty good, but it mostly was just okay. It was a good movie,
Yeah, it was
not
okay.
great. Gave it a C.
Okay.
Next we moved on. We watched Mike's recent episode. He just goes through and picks out a topic and talks about it. And the one that stuck out was Witchfinders General.
Vincent Price.
Another Vincent Price. And he said, this is Vincent Price just going full ham, bad guy, bastard
My
man.
name is Hopkins. I'm the Witchfinder Gen. It's a song by Cathedral.
Nice. So I did like Vincent Price's character. Not enough of him.
Torturing people.
A lot of like the surrounding story and everything was just meh. A lot of the surrounding characters were just meh. You had his second fiddle guy. I can't remember his name, but he was pretty good too. He also is just like, I don't give a shit. I don't even care about fucking Hopkins. I just want to fuck shit up. So there was some good things happening here, but overall, just average C.
Okay.
Fog we're going to talk about today, and the real topic on hand. The fucking horrible movie that I endured, hour and 20 minutes. It's a movie from 2007, I think.
Okay.
The Poughkeepsie tapes.
The Poughkeepsie tapes?
That's
Never heard of it at all.
Never heard of it. Well, Murray, how
Is it a found footage movie? Sounds like it.
It is a found footage movie.
Okay.
The
They're
concept,
usually not good.
the concept of it, I thought was cool because they're doing like the whole movie documentary type style, and they're interviewing cops and people who are on the scene and people who found the body parts.
Kind of like it sounds like a Blair Witch ripoff. Is something like that?
I don't think I've never actually seen Blair Witch, so
Don't bother.
It's a serial killer, and then you're hearing like the various interviews and everything, and the guy.
Okay.
And this is where I already started hating it because this guy's clearly a billionaire. I've heard Jim Cornette, the great wrestling, manager of the years, who is also a wrestling historian and tape trader, talk about the cost of cassette tapes in the early 90s.
Early 80s.
Early 80s, but even into the 90s, it still wasn't cheap. And this man has thousands and thousands and thousands of tape of him just going around the suburbs, capturing people and torturing them.
He's killed thousands of people and not been caught. Okay.
He's killed hundreds of people and not been caught. And they have all the tapes of evidence.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Don't dress like that guy for Halloween.
What? Really?
Yeah, people are
People are doing that? God, what the
I remember when that shit was happening.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, it was weird.
And so...
You think mass shooters have killed off serial killers? It seems like serial killers...
Yeah.
When's the last serial killer we've had? It's like people just moved to mass shooting.
Right.
It's not about style anymore. It's about quantity over quality.
This is the worst joke I'm ever going to make. Everything is about the high spot now, a mass shooting, as opposed to the slow burn of a serial killer. And I'm sorry.
Right.
But that's where we're at nowadays. No one wants to read the newspaper every day to hear about another body.
I understand if... as far as I'm concerned, Halloween is for being offensive, so I don't care about offensive costumes. But I get the family members. The craziest thing about Dahmer is the kid got away and the cops gave him back to Dahmer. You imagine being that kid. Like, I escaped the serial killer. Oh, no, you're not. Yeah. We're giving you back, and then he winds up killing you and eating you. That's true horror right there.
That really is. That is feeling like the light of heaven has reached out and grabbed your hand, and they said, no, actually, we don't like gay.
Right.
So you go back in there now. But this movie, Murray, I know how you love torture. You love torture.
Yes. I was a big proponent of it in Guantanamo. Yes, I loved it.
And Hostel's your favorite movie.
Yeah, I love Hostel.
So this movie, I thought he was going to be playing on your imagination. Nope. No play on the imagination. There is gratuitous. There is long, laborious, awful fucking scenes of just watching this guy torture.
Well, that is gratuitous. That's the definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Screaming out, awful, no story, no nothing, just people screaming. Awful. Hour and 20 minute felt like I was watching a 3-hour movie because it was just long scenes of that.
It's just, well, what is it? Is the conceit that they find his tape player and people are like cops are watching these, or
so this guy is so far ahead of them. He's constantly planning little fucking tricks for them.
Oh, so he's taunting the cops.
He's constantly taunting them. So he allows them to find his collection, the Pakisky tapes, and he leaves them all in a closet. There's like 500 tapes in there, and then they're like, oh yeah, actually, and they show a table. It's a mile long of tapes. There's 8,000. And that means there's over 25,000 hours of him just torturing people.
The fucked up thing is that happened in real life. Like, we don't know about it, but there's some guy who, like, it's just like, you think, you sit and think, what's the most depraved thing I can think of? It's been done at least 1,000 times in human history.
So there's a lot of ideas that would have worked fine for this movie, where he's constantly going around his video camera. He's trying to be helpful, and then he murders the people type of shit. He lures he's got like someone captive in his basement, and they can hear the conversation happening upstairs where he invites like a couple Girl Scouts into his house, and he's basically talking to them the same way he talks to people before he captures and kills them or tortures them. And so you're thinking, oh shit. But no, they never just play into the imagination. They're all just like, hey, we're going to show you this full-on torture, horrible bullshit. It's going to be long. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be boring. It's an awful fucking movie. Hour and 20, and I hated it. How do you do an hour and 20 movie and make it awful? You just show torture for 60 minutes of it.
Is that your first F?
That's my first F. And only F. Even the last time I did 31 movies, everybody got a passing grade, but this one, even Near Dark, was a D+. Because they didn't torture me the whole fucking time. No. This movie was just complete torture. All the fucking interviews with people sucked. The fucking cops they had sucked. The footage they did, they tried to distort it and make it weird and everything. Like the old footage, it sucked. It sucked. Well, let's get on to something good. Can we get on to something good?
Let's get on to some John Carpenter goodness. This movie, it's a fun movie. It's a simple ghost story.
It is.
I came in between Halloween and Escape from New York, which is why I think most people don't remember it as well, because the book ended by two of John Carpenter's best movies.
Right.
What's your favorite John Carpenter movie?
Tough call. What do we got out there? Because there's Halloween.
Ghost of Mars, of course.
Ghost of Mars, my favorite, actually. There's Escape from New York.
L.A.
Escape from New York. L.A., yeah. It might
Christine, Starman.
Never did Christine. I don't think I've watched Starman.
Starman's not that bad. It's very... You'd watch it and go, this is the John Carpenter movie? It's really not.
And I know...
got your man Jeff Bridges.
I was just going to say, my favorite Jeff Bridges is in there.
They Live.
It's either going to be They Live or The Thing. I think it's The Thing.
Mine, The Thing is his best movie, but I just love Snake Plissken so much.
Yeah,
I go Escape from New York.
Oh no, you're wearing the Thing shirt today.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Thing shirt today, but it's like 1A, 1B. I mean, because The Thing is my favorite horror movie of all time.
Right.
Amazing. Still to this day, 40 years later, the special effects are better than the shit you see now.
Yes. That is really hard. Like, if I had to sit down and watch the two back-to-back, I don't know if I'd be able to pick one of those as the better of the two. because Escape from New York's so Donald Pleasant's in there. Adrian Barbeau's in there.
Yeah.
You got so many.
Harry Dean Stanton.
Ernest
Borgnine. Isaac Hayes. It's a star-studded cast.
You're the Duke of New York. Hey,
You're the Duke of New York. Hey, number one.
Another Donald Pleasance line. Remember to cross the world.
Yeah.
So it's so many fucking good. It's hard, but we got The Fog. Beautiful little. This is like the comic you pick up and you say, "This was just fucking good."
It's funny because I was looking at the trailers because. By the way, Vice Squad trailer is really bad. You're gonna have to edit some. It's a lot. It's a very Italian. Put it that way. I saw when I was a little kid. 'Cause I would have been like 6, I think, or 7 when The Fog came out. I didn't see it because I was, horror movies scared me when I was at that age. But I remember seeing the trailer, and it was this trailer that's burned in my. It scared me. It's not. When you look at it now, it's not scary at all.
Yeah.
But it scared me. And I was like, it's The Fog. I didn't know. I can remember because there's just like a hand that jumps out of the water. Actually.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember what it was. It's The Fog. I'm glad that mystery for 40 years is finally been solved.
That's good. The weight off your chest.
Yes.
The water out of your lungs.
Yes.
I mean, I watched this one for my first 31, which I did like 5 years
ago. I
ago
saw it for
now.
the first time only a few years ago myself.
And I appreciate it a lot this time. I really like the whole thing where she's got the driftwood in her radio station office, and it just suddenly like spurts with water and everything. I thought that was really fucking cool this time through. Whereas last time, I fell asleep a couple times during this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird how Adrienne Barbeau, most of her part is by herself. She doesn't. I mean, she has a scene with her son.
That's right. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that.
It's interesting.
Right.
Which was John Carpenter's wife at the time.
Right. That's why she's so covered up.
Yeah.
Hair up just the way John likes to fuck. She had her hair up a lot of it. Yeah.
So I think we've probably bored people with this long intro, so let's get into this.
Hey, they're here for movie reviews, and they got 7 of them.
Well, this is also for the heart. I mean, if you're listening to this, we release this at the witching hour, which the dead own this hour, as we learned in this movie.
That's true.
That we know you're hardcore and you love listening to us.
Right.
So let's get into this. Let us be your lighthouse to guide you through this movie. It's The Fog, John Carpenter's Fog trailer.
$11:55, almost midnight. Enough time for one more story. 5 minutes. It'll be the 21st of April. It is told by the fishermen and their fathers and grandfathers that when the fog returns to Antonio Bay, the men at the bottom of the sea rise up.
I hope you all are ready to traverse the fog.
Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Edgar Allan Poe.
How do you fucking creep people out? You start it with a little sentence by Edgar Allan Poe.
And he's go, nevermore.
Nevermore, quote the Raven. I forget what else the wrestler said. Don't trust anybody over 30? Maybe he said that?
Or under 5 feet.
Now, Murray, okay, people have seen The Fog. I want to get this out of the way right now. What do you call these creatures that unearth themselves? Are they foggies? Are they fowls? Are they fomlins?
I just put ghosts in mine.
Ghosts. You think they're ghosts? But I thought ghosts couldn't touch people.
Well, I mean, what are they then?
That's what I'm asking.
Well, you just want to know what you would call them.
Yeah,
I call
right.
fogies?
But what do they? Well, there's
fogies.
There's ghouls in there. There's zombies in there.
Well, no, they don't eat anybody, so they're not ghouls.
Okay.
Ghouls eat human flesh.
Okay.
They're grave robbers.
But zombies just eat brains, and
they're zombie-esque, but that just may be because they're lepers.
What are wraiths?
Wraiths are a ghost, I believe.
Okay, but they just like murder, as far as I know.
I mean, I think ghosts can touch you, can't they? At times.
Yeah.
You can't touch them, isn't that it?
I thought so. Maybe I don't know.
I went with ghosts
because
it is a ghost story, is what it is. It's a campfire story.
Could we call them faux? Because they're like fog ghosts.
Fake ghosts?
Faux,
yeah, fake ghosts.
Faux, yeah. I like faux.
Okay. We opened this was added to pad the movie because it was like short. It was like 80 minutes. So this whole opening scene, we see John Houseman, no stranger to Golan-Globus Theater.
Oh,
he
really?
played, I believe his name is Mr. Bartholomew, the guy that owned the Houston team in rollerball.
Oh, interesting. Yes, rollerball.
And he's
Great
a captain.
soundtrack.
He looks like the captain from The Simpsons. And
Yes, he does.
He's telling a little campfire story to these kids, which sets up the whole movie.
Right, we're starting out the witching hour. We got to get into the whole idea of how the witching hour got started.
The Elizabeth Lane ship was out on the waves. The guy's not even British. I think he's American, but he talks like he's British.
You got to do it as King Diamond for Abigail. On the 7th day.
On this 8th, it was on the 31st day of April, 1880.
Thank you.
And we learned that the SS Taylor Dane, if you're under 45, you get that joke, was going towards land, but they were tricked because the townsfolk, or we don't know at the time, we don't know what's going on. We just know somebody lit a campfire, that they thought was the lighthouse, and it tricked them, and they went onto the rocks instead of away from the rocks, and killed every man and woman that was on it.
And of course, no one was there to help them up.
And when the fog returns to Antonio Banderas Bay, the dead men will rise and seek that very campfire. And he's trying to scare the kids because they're at a campfire.
Right. And we do see that who we'll later learn is Barbeau's son,
Andy.
Yeah. He's amongst the campfire crew.
Why they're letting their kids around this weird sea captain, I don't know.
Because it's a little...
It was the 80s.
It was the 80s. It was a little fucking town, Of course, this is the kind of shit that people did in the 80s. They just let their kids around old men at night.
So, speaking of old men at night, we meet Father Malone, played by Al Holbrook, looking like fucking Mark Twain. Which makes sense because he was famous for playing a one-man play as Mark Twain.
Interesting.
He actually did another movie around this time, a few years later, with Adrian Barboobs.
Okay.
Creep Show, where they played husband and wife. They were in the same story.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. And as like most priests, they can't fuck, they drink.
Oh, yes.
And he's probably Irish, so that even makes it even more so.
And he's got some help working for him.
Played by...
Oh, my God. Who?
John fucking Carpenter.
Really? That was him?
Yes.
Johnny C?
Johnny C. You didn't notice him because he had hair.
He took time away from the synth. Oh, excuse me. What do they call it in this movie? Electronic
realization.
He took time away from the electronics realization
and directing
to do it, and directing to do it.
Well, because I'm sure it was a shoestring budget, and that's the way John Carpenter works. He's like, well, if we don't have someone to do the job, I'll just do it.
I just love in this.
He's a mean caterer.
In this age of awful sequels and everything, everybody like
one of them, awful remake of this movie, came out like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think
which I've never seen, so I don't even know if it's awful, but I'm sure it is.
It was probably Kayla that asked me it recently. Didn't they make Fog recently? And I was like, I don't fucking remember. They remake everything John Carpenter ever did because John Carpenter made really good movies.
Except for, thankfully, they keep trying to make Escape from New York, but thankfully they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm waiting to see The Rock play Snake Plissken.
I was just going to say, who would play... No,
Jason Momoa.
Oh, you're halfway there.
Okay.
Jason Statham as Snake Plissken.
I would be okay with that. I think he can play like a tough guy. I don't
know.
But
the hair...
Well, yeah. Well, they would make him bald. They wouldn't give him.
Could you deal with Snake Plissken without the fucking hair?
He's got to have that feather.
I have to have the hair. That is pivotal to the character.
It's almost as important as the patch. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if they had Statham, I'm sorry, everybody. if they had stayed
Call me Snake.
the cobra wouldn't just be popping out at his ab level. It would go all the way up and be a face tattoo because they have to take away.
No, it wouldn't be a face tattoo, but you're right. It would be on his neck.
It would be on
start
his
at
neck.
his neck and then go down.
So everybody could see it easily.
Yeah.
And, maybe he would wear turtlenecks and everything and had to reveal it. But, of course, Denny's would have a pivotal role in the movie.
Yeah, they'd have a tie-in.
It would be awful.
So Father Malone, John Carpenter's playing the character Bennett.
Yes.
And he's like, I can see why he never went into acting. 'Cause he has like two lines and they're really stiff and awkward.
Yeah.
And he's like, Father, I'm ready to be paid, please.
Well, no, he comes down and he's just like, I did all that work, sir. It's the middle of the night. This guy's been working all fucking day.
It's literally midnight.
Yes. And so he comes down and he's like, I got to go home now. And he's just like, great, do you want a drink?
And then Father Malone starts patting his pockets. Oh, I lost my wallet.
Right.
I left it.
Yeah, you just did it in the wrong order. So I wanted to set the story straight because he's like, wow, that was such a great work you did today. Can I please get paid this time? Yeah, I can give you some drinks. No, money.
My rent is due.
Well, that's great. You know what? Why don't you come in late tomorrow?
Yeah.
Just avoiding the topic. Right. Avoiding the topic.
Well, we learned that Malone's is a fucking asshole. And he comes from a long line of assholes.
Yes. Just constantly stiffing. Might as well be in the Trump family. Constantly stiffing people.
So as soon as Bennett leaves, all of a sudden the fucking wall explodes.
Well, yeah, he's got to go in. Malone's like...
So maybe Malone's right. Like, Bennett does shitty work. Because the wall is collapsing.
I don't know, because he walks in and then the wall collapses. Malone's the type of guy who's like, I paid nothing for this. I need to make sure he did the job... God damn it, I'm getting ahead of myself. I got to make sure he did the job correctly.
Yeah, that's a classic rich white person thing.
Exactly. I'm surprised he wasn't watching over his shoulder.
Yeah, if Bennett was Mexican, it's like, I'll report you to ICE.
Yeah, exactly. He probably did. He's probably got them on the hotline while he works. Anyways, he
finds a book, journal, if you will,
yes,
from his grandfather, another priest. How are these priests having children? Father Patrick Malone.
They're promiscuous.
But you wouldn't put your name on somebody. You would lie about it.
That's right.
You'd fuck one of the nuns or something.
They live by the sea.
I know a woman who fucked two priests. Okay. She seduced them. She actually wanted to fuck a priest, and she did it twice.
She did it twice. I knew a girl who wanted to fuck her high school guidance counselor.
That happens all the time.
And she did.
Yeah.
After high school. And
my sister went to school. The band teacher fucked a student. Everyone's cool with it. A lot of people knew about it. I don't think the principal didn't know about it. The kids knew about it. And then they did wind up getting married for a time. I don't know if they're still together.
I think there was a situation in my elementary school, because that was the last time I was in band, where the band teacher just disappeared. And there was a rumor that he was getting a little too friendly with one of the girls, who just happened to be a Jehovah's Witness. So, of course, Jehovah told on him. But probably good, because you shouldn't be creeping on fourth graders.
Yeah, we agree with that.
Yeah.
So he opens it right up April 30th, 1880, exactly 100 years ago to the day of right now. And it says, midnight till 1 belongs to the dead. Good Lord, deliver us. All right, now we got, I was going to say we got our lead. He's not even nowhere near the lead. I guess the closest thing to a lead we have is Adrian Barbeau.
This is kind of cool because it's the first, it's
an ensemble.
It's a Carpenter movie where there really is no leading character. It's just kind of the town dealing with the shit. Yeah, it's all mishmash. It's a good movie.
Stevie, she sank all her money into this radio station. It is a very cool location for a radio station in a lighthouse. So I'm digging that.
Cool as shit.
She just plays kind of tepid jazz. I wasn't digging that.
I didn't get. She's like, I'm gonna keep y'all awake tonight, and then she puts on very, not even like good jazz, like really.
It was public domain shit because it's in the IMDb. It said that's why she didn't play rock music because they couldn't pay for obviously the rights.
Well, John Carpenter, you didn't lend your talents to this?
Yeah, you think you would, but I guess the electronic realization was still fresh.
You're right. That would have been.
This was like because this is when new wave hit. I love that era because every band, like every old fogey. I love how I say old fogey when it's bands that were just like relevant 3 years earlier. But like that's what you thought. Like I always remember. Like, I don't know when Led Zeppelin wasn't classic. I remember in 1980 they were classic rock, and they were still relevant.
Yeah.
It's like weird how you think like, well, that's an old fogey band, and now I think of bands I like that have been around for 30 fucking years and shit. And I'm like, that's not old. I got a record 30 years ago, and it's not old.
I was having a laugh over in Colorado during my miserable trip that I'll never bring up on this podcast.
We got to bring up the tattoo story, but that'll be another day.
Outside of the Bon Me story, which of course you'll hear Wednesday.
Very heated.
Or will you?
Very heated.
Me and Murray had to stop for a while because we went outside and we fucking fought it out.
Yes.
We shoved sandwiches into sandwich on a pole match. But I was having a conversation with good old Dave, and we were just talking about how classic rock existed, whereas the boomers and, what was the generation before you? The lost generation or whatever?
I guess so, yeah. The greatest generation.
Greatest generation,
fought in
maybe.
World War II, yeah.
But those fucks have had classic rock on the radio. They can go to the radio, turn on, and hear the comfort of their youth at any moment. Can you do that?
I don't know. I don't listen to the radio.
But all the music...
I could never in my whole life hear the music I like because nobody gives a shit about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I couldn't do the same. We can both go listen to what they grew up adoring right now. The same hits. Not even deep cuts.
Well, it makes sense because they're the only generation that still listens to the radio.
And they're the ones who are just like, the world's changing around us and we hate it. It's like you can go look anywhere and the comforts are there for you. The only thing that's different is young people look different than young people when you were young.
Yeah, it's all the same.
It's so fucking obnoxious.
Well, it's life.
Everything is there to cater for you. Yeah. You just hate it.
So we meet Stevie, and she's like you said, she's like, I got some really sleepy jazz to play you guys to keep you up during the witching hour.
Oh yeah, and it's offbeat Kenny G.
It sounded very like 1930s like jazz. It was some, yeah.
It was not good, and she only plays like 30 seconds of it at one point, and
she can't even take it.
And yeah, and then she
this is when you really, when being a DJ meant something, because they had to fucking flip the vinyl, all right?
Yes. So
that takes skill to do that on time.
Exactly. To have that fucking microwave timing.
Right.
I gotta tell you.
Stevie's got it.
And we're scanning the town now. We're looking over and everything, and we're seeing that a lot of creepy shit are happening.
Right.
We got payphones.
Because it's the witching hour.
Yeah.
And that belongs to the dead.
Right. That's how Stevie left us. And we see payphones just all ringing simultaneously in unison.
We see a guy, a janitor for a supermarket, who is helping himself to the OJ. He just opens a can of OJ, takes a swig.
Not a can. It was a bottle.
A bottle, yeah, because you couldn't get away with a can.
That's right.
And just puts it right back. And then that's kind of shit people, I'm sure, did back then.
That's kind of shit.
Because nothing had, like, the safety. You know what caused that whole, like the safety seal? It was fucking Tylenol. When there was some guy who was poisoning Tylenol.
Oh, with rainbow fentanyl?
And probably.
Oh, I might not be able to say that on YouTube.
I remember at the time it was a huge story.
Yeah.
And I think it killed like 3 people. It wasn't, but you think, when you remember back, oh man, it must have like killed like 100 people. No.
Listen to the conservative radio right now. All they do is talk about how there may be one student who identifies as a cat and asks for a litter box in their classroom. And that has been driving conservative media for the last 4 months.
We're seeing a lot of that with the midterm.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard cannot stop. They're on a tour right now, and that's their main piece.
So, yeah, I mean, we see a gas pump just fly off the handle, start spewing gas.
Yeah, shit starts blowing up in the party store. We go outside.
Well, shit, I don't think it's blowing up. It's just shaking.
Yeah, it's
bottles
shaking.
are shaking.
Yeah, shaking. Bottles and cans
so it's kind of like,
clapping their hands.
We're just thinking, it is California where we're at.
Earthquake.
Yeah, earthquake. That's what we're thinking.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is Antonio Banderas, California.
Yeah.
What? Excuse me?
Antonio Banderas Bay.
Bay. Okay.
And and so a car alarm goes off. I didn't know people had car alarms in 1980. So,
right.
Yeah.
And we're seeing one character who will later meet Sandy.
Yeah.
She's waking up, she's stowing awake and everything. She's like, fucking people. Why did they invent the car alarm?
And we cut back to Stevie. She's like, I got another sleepy one for you. This will keep you up for that witching hour.
Everybody is up for this witching hour, by the way.
Then now we see a quasi-hero of our thing, Nick Castle. Which is funny. That's an inside joke because Nick Castle is the actor who played Michael Myers in Halloween.
Interesting.
And we do also.
Didn't he just die recently?
I think he did.
Sorry,
and
Nick.
we do. Yeah, he's probably like 80 something. So
he was old.
And we also get a nice little Easter egg where she says she's playing a song by the Coupe de Villes, which is John Carpenter's real life band.
Interesting.
Which made the video for the song Big Trouble in Little China.
Awesome.
Which featured Nick Castle playing in the band with John Carpenter.
Amazing. Murray.
So it's layer upon layer.
This is a 3-layer cake. Like the cake will never get
all right,
YouTube.
Here's the thing. I was all ready to come into this movie going, it's not a fog, it's a cock smog movie. But then I've changed my tune. This movie's all about the fog.
Yeah, I don't know why you thought this was going to be a cocksmog movie. Because Tom Atkins is in it?
Well, yeah, because that's the thing I have with, maybe John Carpenter needs glasses, but he just thought, Atkins, the next big sex symbol.
Yes. I mean, it
because he put him in this movie, he's getting some ass, and he put him in Halloween 3, fucking every available woman. And, Tom Atkins, the perfect guy to play your deadbeat alcoholic dad.
Yes, 100%.
Born for that role.
Halloween 3, fantastic movie.
Which he also put, call back to Creepshow again. He played a shitty dad in Creepshow, and the stories that bookended the movie.
Interesting.
Which he didn't have a mustache in that one either, because I was thrown off.
Okay.
I don't want to see Tom Atkins without a mustache.
He needs that mustache. He's got a weird crater face. He's already old. He's already weird looking, but he's got
the big space between the nose
he
and
does.
the top lip.
I don't have that big space. Murray does. You have said it yourself. I grow the better beard, but you have the mustache, and it's true. Yeah. And you never give the world what it needs in your mustache.
No, I'm not a big facial hair guy. Sorry. No offense to Jack can pull it off. I can't. I can pull it off. I just choose not to.
I am the only person who will ever be privileged upon our earwaves here that gets to see you with facial hair.
Yeah, you're the only person who ever seen me with a mustache because I had a mustache for the Commando episode.
Oh, you were very pleased with yourself.
Oh, yeah. I was constantly stroking it.
I don't get why you don't wear it out more. I think you just need to get the confidence with a mustache because once you get that...
It's not a look thing. I don't like the feel of... I have very coarse facial hair, and I don't like the feel of it.
That's what they tell themselves. That's what they tell themselves. You talk yourself right out.
And it also gets through the way because I can't stand... Because I think... At this time moment in history, I think I'm the only guy who's clean shaven. All I see are guys with
Murray,
beards.
You are the only man clean shaven and without tattoos.
You're right.
All these people are like, I'm going to be cool and get a tattoo. No. It's not. Do you? I'll still get tattoos.
You know why?
You're not cool.
It's not fun for me. But we'll explain that.
That's a fun one. So Nick's rolling into town. Who's he going to be picking up? Straight out of Road Game. Fucking what's her face?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
She has just chugged a gallon of yogurt and she has shit herself because she loves bowel movements.
Yes,
and she also loves men who look like bowel movements.
Yes.
Murray, I'm on fire.
So yeah, you're giddy. And so it must have been that sandwich you ate between episodes.
It had to be the sandwich. Ice cream sandwich, fantastic.
Well, because it's a sandwich. You're right.
You're right.
So the first, because this is the thing you could do in 1980. People hitchhike. Yes. I would never. I remember when I was a kid, I had no idea what it meant, but you see in commercials, people put the thumb out. I am surprised I didn't get kidnapped and raped.
Yeah.
Because I'd go along the street doing it. I was just mimicking it. I had no idea what it meant.
Yeah. I did that in my youth too.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know that was a real thing. Yeah. I just knew of it from media.
Right.
And I just love that you said, we'll do the fog. We'll knock it out real quick. We won't have any. We're losing ourselves.
Nice 90 minutes.
We're losing ourselves.
Because you know why, Griff? We're trying to protect people because they're listening at the witching hour because we released this at the witching hour.
That's right. We're trying
and then on the evilest day, Devil's Night into Halloween.
We know what's happening right now. All these people are fearing for their lives, so we're providing that levity.
We're your Stevie Wayne. All right?
Yeah. I don't have that voice. You might have a voice that soothes people. I know. I'm the voice they hear when they're like, I need to not come right now. That's me. Hi. Would you like to come?
Hey, I might be able to use you.
Thank you.
So just to supervise, I'm like, Griff, can you talk for a minute?
So we have Jamie Lee Curtis jumping in the car. She's not introducing herself. She's just like, oh my God, this is the first time I've ever done this before. You better not be a weird person. Nick turns to her and goes, oh, babe, I'm weird.
It's like, yeah, I am weird. As he's drunk driving, he's drinking a beer as he's driving. Want some? You like this? This was the 1980. This was true to life.
This is
how people
very
were
true to life. Yes. And so he hands her the beer. She sips on it, and she giggles a little bit. And she's like, "Man, the last guy who picked me up. Oh, the last guy. I thought this was your first time.
But you never did this.
Well, it is my 13th hitch, and the last one was fucking weird. Like, not in a good way.
He wanted to suck my toes and everything.
Everything he was saying, he wanted a shrimp, he wanted a shower, he wanted a half and half.
And she thought because it's a fishing village, because she's going down, she's traveling up the coast of Vancouver, so she can get some heroin probably.
That could have been it, yeah.
And so
all the bad drugs come in from Canada.
Yeah, she's working her way north. And she's like, yeah, I thought it was just a fishing village thing. You really want shrimping? No, he wants to suck my toes.
Right.
And he's like, great. So I'm weird and unlucky.
Oh, yeah. She is looking for a man who will gill her. And I don't even want to get into the fucking act of gilling.
I don't either.
And
neither do they, because as soon as they says that, boom, goes the windshield. The glass in the truck just explodes everywhere.
And we just hear Nick Turner, and he stops the car, of course, because everything's going crazy. He goes, not only am I weird, but I'm unlucky. Because it's her 13 hitch. 13's an unlucky number. Suddenly the windows blow out. Everything's going weird.
And it is the witching hour.
So we go back up to Stevie in her lighthouse, and she's getting a call from the weatherman, Dan. Dan.
Right.
Perfect.
And he's listening to that sultry, sexy voice. So
God.
Deep in the fog. This is an Uther fog. Stevie is not to blame. She's just a sexy woman with a sexy voice. She can't help that. So anything that happens is clearly on Dan's fault, okay?
Yeah.
And he's trying his hardest to flirt with her, and she's just like, oh my God, why do I have to talk to this guy?
This is like the whole idea. I don't know if this is part of Sharia law, but the whole idea of like women need to be covered because men can't help themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Stevie's just out here doing a good fucking radio show with horrible jazz music. And Dan is such a he needs legalized prostitution in his world. He needs princess in his world. He needs Blue Chip, Dixie, Coco.
But you don't get that kind of quality streetwalker in Antonio Banderas Bay. It's a city of like 50 people.
Exactly. They have the statue of Antonio Banderas' fucking bulging cock, but they don't have women that Dan's attracted to.
Yeah, that's actually on the flag. It's just a picture of Antonio Banderas' dick.
The flagpole is his dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lets you know that a big fog bank is coming in. And he's like, yeah, I see it, but why is it glowing?
That's so fucking weird. And also, I have the wind clocked at northeast, and the fog's coming from the southwest.
Yeah, it's going against the wind. That goes against physics.
This is not a Bob Seger song we're living right now.
Against the wind. And so, yeah, she goes, that's weird, and it's kind of lets it go. She's got to get back on air, because she plays 30-second bits of song, and she only has less than 30 seconds in between them.
She picks a genre of music that has like 8-minute song improvisational songs and everything. She plays 35 seconds and gets back. Hello, everybody out there in Waveland. It's me, Stevie, taking you to the shores.
K-A-B.
K-A-B. And you know what that stands for? Can a girl get a bang?
Oh, she's kind of leading him on.
She's leading him on.
And you know what? Who knows she's leading on? These old fishermen. They're out in their trawlers.
Old salty sailors.
Right. And you notice they don't show them from the waist up because they're circle jerking. These guys are jerking it to Stevie's voice.
I did watch the Laserdisc, and there is a scene where John Carpenter actually cut in the Jaws scene where all the guys are getting together and they hear her voice on the radio, and then they say, cut that noise. We're bonding here.
Right. And so, like, I'd like to fog her.
Yeah. Hey, man, your wife's waiting ashore for you.
One of the guys, played by the great Buck Flowers, who only plays drunk, homeless people.
Nice. Yeah. I would like that.
Yeah. Well, you know him. You've seen him. You might not recognize it because he's a little different in this movie because he's not homeless.
Because he's the best hobo ever.
He's in almost every John Carpenter. He plays a homeless dude in They Live. He plays a homeless guy in Escape from New York.
And you know what? I would never recognize him because he is a homeless men have many of faces and shapes, and he hits every one of them.
He was too foggy. You didn't see him, but you saw him in another movie. You go, of course, I know that guy. He always plays.
Of course, okay.
So yeah, they're just jerking it to Stevie's voice because she talks as much as she plays music. She only plays 30-second intervals.
Right. I mean, at one point she did say, "And you're taking out your throbbing cock." So
Wow,
she is.
wow, FCC lets that go.
Hey,
we can't even say the C word.
Excuse me, this is Outlaw Radio. KAB.
Oh, is it a pirate radio? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's near
No
pirate
pun
radio.
intended, because there's kind of pirates out there.
Look, they don't speak Spanish, the FCC. So Antonio Banderas Bay is off the charts.
So she said, pull out your El Caco.
Yes, she said, pull out your El Caco.
Your Cacaracho.
Oh, let's do the Cacaracha.
Okay, so yeah, and they're just jerking it, and then the captain goes, "Hey man, look at that fog coming here." But he puts his fingers in his mouth, sticks up, but the wind's coming from that direction.
And then he's like, "Is that a boat coming right next to us?"
Yeah, we see like an old clipper. That's what it is.
So they're under dockside.
Yeah,
because they're all jerking off. You don't jerk off dockside.
Yeah, below decks.
Yeah. Jerking off dockside is for Titanic.
They're doing a lower decker.
They're doing a lower decker, of course. No. Not poop.
Yeah.
No poop.
A lower decker is jerking off in a boat.
A lower decker is actually just pooping normal.
But not flushing.
But, you don't flush. I thought that was a beast whale.
I don't know. There's so many terms for
There's so
shitting.
many terms.
They're so nautical on top of it.
Exactly.
So he's like, I got to go investigate. So he puts his pants on and goes on up there.
I love it. They call him salty seaman for a reason, because they are not.
He has salty semen.
Not only do they have the saltiest semen in the world, but they are not afraid to whip their cock out. Right. They live their lives in close quarters with men.
A whole different world, international waters.
If we've all seen, what's the one Kubrick movie with the military and everything?
Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal Jacket is about young dudes jerking off together. I mean, that's the boat
Have you ever
life.
been involved in a circle jerk, Griff?
God, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I hear stories about that. Because there's no way that if anyone brought that up, I grew up in the ghetto where it's super macho.
Yeah.
People don't even admit to jerking off. So they would laugh at that guy. That guy would be known as Circle Jerk Jim or whatever for the rest of his life, and he probably would have killed himself.
I had one friend when I was younger. He was my brother's age, so he's 3 years older than me, and he would invite us over, and this kid really was infatuated with his penis. Oh. And so
was he the weird kid in school?
Sounds weird. I don't know what happened to him in high school and everything, because after we stopped talking to him, by the time I was like 7, so my brother was 10, I think, because this kid was like, we should probably take our penises out and touch them. And I remember this because I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And he was really interested in that, and it never happened.
Yeah, we never had any of that shit going on.
That's what happens when you have a divorcee family. Actually, I don't know if they were divorced. I think they were both
it's from a broken home.
Broken home?
That's why Gen X is so fucked up. We were the first broken home generation.
Jesus
so we were
Christ.
all about touching dicks.
You guys set the fucking threshold there. You were like, every parent was broken up.
Yeah. So they go up on deck, two of the guys, and they see these figures in the fog. And they're kind of piratey. They got the cutlass, I think you call it, the pirate.
Yes, the cutlass.
Sword.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, what are you doing on here?
Or saber.
And they got the, what do you call the things? It's like the hooks you use with the hand. It's like a hook with a handle used to like pick up bales of hay.
Yeah. Hail hook or hay hook, or there's the ice hook. Yeah, it's got a lot of different names. I don't know what they're using it for though.
They're using it to kill.
Yes, they
because
are.
They just go hook right in the guy's throat.
Yep. And we're seeing that these people are being murdered by bloods, by hooks, by crooks, by any means necessary.
And originally, John Carpenter wanted this to be a PG movie. And I guess they wanted an R, so they added the more gruesome, like, hooks to the neck.
Oh, okay. Because it's like shadowy. All the violence.
I can't believe this was an R-rated movie because there's no blood. And
this is nothing.
The worst thing you see is a guy with no eyes.
That's
you
true.
see him for like a second.
A glimpse.
I mean, even Jaws is PG, isn't it? I don't think it's R.
I think it is, yeah.
And they have more gruesome shit.
Jaws
you see
is
a severed leg.
Jaws is definitely more violent than this movie. In broad daylight and everything.
Yeah.
So after all this violence, we're like, oh my God, what do we follow this up? Stevie put it on 4 more tracks. Look out to the sea. Wow. Nothing but beautiful sea in front of me. Definitely beats Chicago.
Right, because it's 1 o'clock now, so the fog starts rolling back.
Yeah.
So we cut to what's up with Nick and Elizabeth, right?
Oh yeah, Nick and Elizabeth.
Because she also when she talks about being in, I don't know. I like Chicago when I was there. I don't know why she's shitting on Chicago.
Chicago's a pretty nice place. She clearly has bad blood with Chicago.
Maybe she had to get out of town or something.
Right.
Because it's better than being some Antonio Banderas Bay.
Yeah. So clearly there's a curse over Antonio.
Yeah, Dan. What happens is Dan calls back to her because he's jerking it too. He's like, "Oh, what are you wearing?" And he's like, "Oh, by the way, that fog, it's going against the wind."
Right.
By the way, could you play? Here's a request. Bob
Against
Seger's
the wind?
Against the Wind.
Yeah, we don't have licensing for that. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Bob Seger himself will show up and strangle me, so I can't do it.
And she's like, "I wouldn't fuck you if you're the last weatherman on Earth, Dan."
Yeah. Let's keep our relationship over the phone and in 10-second increments.
Okay, now this next scene, this is where I thought it was going to be a cock smog movie because Nick, we're like post-coitus. They just fucked.
They're laying up in bed, window, moonlight shining in, 1 a.m., just past the witching hour.
And I'm like, God damn, Nick moves fast. They don't even know each other's names yet.
She's wearing his shirt.
She's not wearing anything. He's wearing his shirt.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what. And I'm like, oh my God, no. This is next level pussy fog. This woman is a fucking maestro of her pussy. Because, first of all, if Dan's the kind of, Nick is the kind of guy that fucks with his shirt on, he has no game at all. So there's no way he's working any cock smog.
No.
So this is, we learned that she's a rich girl. She's a rich girl. And she's totally mesmerized him. And to the point where he thinks he's in charge.
Yes.
She is totally in charge. And so she's doing the classic rich white girl thing where she's like finding herself.
Right.
When I hear people say that shit, I don't even know what that means. Have you ever thought to yourself, I need to find myself? You don't know who you are? I've always been aware of who I am. Maybe that's weird.
I mean, I think you're taking it a little too literal, but there's definitely times where it's just like, I don't want to fucking deal with anything.
Well, that's a whole different thing. I understand that, not wanting to deal with your life and being mature and being an adult.
Yeah.
What do I hear? Is that what people mean when they say they want to find themselves?
I think so. I think you're getting confused in like the whole like how people said defund the police, and what they meant was let's just like not have the police show up to every situation. You hear people say I need to find myself, and what they mean is basically like I need some fucking time away from everybody. And I think you would identify with that and be, you get around some people, you're like, you're incredibly toxic towards my life.
Yeah.
And now it's become a thing. They hear it. The buzzword is, I need to find myself. And that's the kind way of saying, I don't want to fucking talk to you. I need to find myself. I need to go this way.
That's the
you need to go that
wishy-washy way of saying I don't want to talk.
That is the PC way of saying it.
Yeah, wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And so, so she's eating, praying, and loving her way up the coast.
Thank you.
Yeah, because she probably graduated from college. Now she's going to find herself for a year on her parents' dime.
Right. And that the way I knew that she is definitely hooking him, hook, line, and sinker, and all that bullshit.
She's doing her own fog.
Because she asked Dan, what Dan?
It's Nick. I know. He seems like such a Dan. If you had the mustache, totally Nick.
Dan.
But without the mustache, he's Dan.
So Nick, she's asking Nick, like, I mean, you're older than me. You got all this sexual experience. You're a fucking dynamo in the sack. What's your favorite position? And he goes, missionary. And she's like, I've never heard of that. That's how you know she's just spooning him along, just trying to get. She's trying to get millions out of him to live her art life. She thinks she's going to be an artist.
I think she's just She's even worse. She's slumming. She's toying with the townies.
Murray, excuse me. Yeah. We heard this. Everybody, go ahead. Hit pause. Go back. Listen to Murder Rock again because you need to.
Yes, you really do, because that's the one that doesn't get as much love. Everyone else, every other Halloween movie is doing well. That's doing good. I want it to do better.
Because we just learned about slum sex and Murder Rock, and now it's coming up again.
Yeah, I was shocked that Elizabeth wasn't wearing a fur coat.
Yeah, mink.
But she didn't want she didn't want to give it away. Yeah.
She was a little smart to the game. Yeah. She knows I have to dress out a little bit more. I need to act a little more fragile and everything. Yeah. And then she's got to bear her soul with him after she's endured his awkward penis, because it's not mustache.
She's laughing to herself the whole time he's fucking.
Oh my God,
he's just like putty in my hands.
Well, it probably didn't last very long.
Probably not.
Because he's like, oh my God, she's 20 years younger than me. How is this happening?
Yeah, it's got to be because there's no way Tom Atkins is a sex symbol. I'm sorry.
There is no way. And so, anyways, everybody, we got to move on with this. Actually,
basically, she's slumming up the coast. She fucks the goofiest guy. It's like it's a game to her. Like every little city, little town she comes into,
yeah, she's working on.
She lets them come into her.
She's working on her zine. She's the first zine writer.
That's it. She's going to write a memoir about like fucking up the coast.
She's gonna address it. She's gonna author it as Jane Doe. She's working the coast.
Anonymous.
The witching hour isn't quite over yet. I might have let us on with my notes here, but there's a rapping at his door.
A rap tap tap.
A rap tap tap.
I think that's another Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, it might be the Raven at his door, and not the wrestler.
Well, we don't know poetry. Come on.
That's right.
And
so
Detroit.
He gets up. Thankfully, he's already got a shirt on, so he's halfway there. He's got to hide his shame though. Yeah. Because he's definitely...
Yeah, he pulls a Seagal, he grabs the blanket and covers his body. He does a fucking Mom from Burial Ground. And unfortunately, it's not Paul Bart. I wish it was. I wish Paul Bart kicked it. It's because they have... it's like a glass door. It's like a smoke glass door, so we can see a silhouette, can't we? I don't remember.
We do. We see a silhouette at
and
the
there's
door.
like a tapping. It's that hook thing that the ghosties are doing.
And Carpenter is doing some fucking Hobbit level like trick of the mind shots here because we're thinking like he can see the door from his bed. That's what I got from this.
Okay,
was that he just turned and could see a shadowy figure at his door. He has to turn the corner, go around, and everything, so he doesn't see that it's a shadowy figure. He just heard the knocking.
Right.
So he's going towards the door, and we see the shadowy figure hide behind the pillar. Okay. That is definitely an Edgar Allan Poe poem. Okay. The shadowy figure hides behind the pillar.
Right. I remember that. I had to read that in school.
Yeah, exactly. You probably had to stand up and do a whole fucking rendition of it.
I had to dress up like the ghost.
You weren't the pillar? You were the ghost?
I played the pillar, yeah. Pillar of the community.
You're a strong silent type, Murray. Of course, like a pillar.
Right.
Tongue poke kick you ever?
Yeah, I wasn't enough strong. And he goes for the doorknob, and then bong! He's
grandfather clock.
Yeah, it's like any cool guy would have. He has a grandfather clock.
Well, that's how you get the classy ladies in your house.
Oh, is that
that's
it?
why he thinks he deserves 20-year-old pussy.
You know what that clock's made of? Mahogany. It gets him wet every time. And
this is a movie about wet wood, so
we get you later.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is the thinking man's Carpenter movie because the symbolism and metaphors are everywhere.
Every Carpenter movie is a thinking man's movie, except Ghosts of Mars. And so, yeah, and then not only that, the grandfather clock explodes because
electronics, which grandfather clocks are supposed to not be electronic.
I think they just hate glass. These fucking ghosts hate glass.
Right.
Maybe it's because they see the reflection and they're lepers and it bothers them.
That might be it.
And she's like, "Who's at doors?" I don't know, DoorDash. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, because we see that the shadowy figure is just there waiting for him to open the door. He opens the door after a few seconds of adjusting to the clock exploding. Nothing.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
And then we hear Steve. Yeah, everybody listens to KAB. It's the only radio station in town. And she's like, "The witching hour is now over."
All right, we're going into the next morning, and we've got that young kid from
Mop it, plop it.
Thankfully, that old man was just a cool old man who wanted to tell...
Didn't want to molest him. Well,
yeah,
he
exactly.
did say, "Don't tell anybody, I'll kill your mom."
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And
he did ask all the kids if they had pictures of their mom.
Do you have Polaroids of your mother half naked?
Maybe for my next story, my throat will be a little dry, and I can't tell them unless you bring me Polaroids of your mommies.
Your mother creates the saliva I need to speak.
So, anyways, this kid's walking around. He's trying to go fishing.
He is. I'm gonna think he's looking for oysters. He's a clamming.
He's gonna go shucking.
He's clamming. Yeah, he don't give a shuck.
Yeah.
And because he's got the fucking galoshes on and
He's
everything.
got the galoshes.
And then he goes over, he notices something in the rocks, and he looks and he sees, and oh my, is it the balloon? It's a Trump buck.
Yeah.
And he goes for that Trump buck because he knows it's worth it. You ever heard the story? I don't know. This is probably made up for like an internet story.
Jesus.
But because I'm not in that world, that Fox world, so I don't know if these are real. I have no trouble believing it's real. Trump buck.
The Trump buck.
Where it's guaranteed, which money used to. I actually found $1
Money used to mean something.
No, yeah, I'm not. You could trade it in for silver or gold. I found like $1 one time that was like a silver dollar.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a dollar bill, but it was good for $1 worth of silver. Or maybe it was $10. I think it was $10 or $20.
Okay.
And it was supposed. That's what the scam that Trump is running, where it's like a Trump buck, and he's guaranteed to be worth whatever the $200 or $300 you spend to get this stupid thing.
Right.
And somebody went to a bank going, "I would like my $300 in gold, please." First of all, can you get gold from a bank? I mean, I guess you can. They keep, but I don't know if a regular bank would keep gold. Would it?
No. Most banks probably don't keep gold because we abandoned the gold standard.
Yeah.
So
that story happened. It's probably made up, but that's
it's probably real. Unfortunately, it's
and the person had to
real.
explain. I'm sure it was some old people. They're like, "Ma'am, this is worthless."
So the kid, thankfully, the sea does the job for him and takes the gold doubloon away, but it also washes ashore some driftwood.
And it says Dane. Remember, we learned the ship, the leper ship, Taylor Dane. With so we're like, holy shit, this is from the Taylor Dane.
I thought this was just some wood that's a big fan of Dane Cook.
I don't think anybody's a fan of Dane Cook.
Not
Anybody
anymore.
like fucking this burnt out quicker, like top of the world, nobody remembers him.
That
anymore.
guy literally, because I was working at the golf course at that time, being not a caddy, I was a groundskeeper Griff.
Okay.
Very
you
literal.
were Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
Yeah,
Were you killing gophers?
I always did the Oh wait, that's Chevrolet's. Never mind. Yeah, my brother did throw a golf ball back in his pitching days when he was actually fucking amazing. He's still in his youth, didn't break his arm at all.
Had all his hair.
He hit a fucking goose in the neck with a golf ball.
That's horrible.
And
I always know I don't like your brother. That's horrible. Even though gooses are assholes. Geese. We're both wrong.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so yeah, he's like, well, fuck it. Driftwood's just as good as the balloon, I guess. It looks
Mommy.
Stevie just got off her fucking shift, all right? Just off the witching hour.
She is a midnight worker.
Right.
She burns the midnight oil. Bends the midnight oil.
And she's like, Andy, I love you. Shut the fuck up. And he's like, Mom, I need a fucking Coke.
And a stomach pounder.
Which I'm still trying to figure that out.
I looked that up. I searched Google stomach pounder. Every result is, what the fuck, John Carpenter? Literally, no one knows what it is.
It's a Carpenterism.
But there is one rumor that says a stomach pounder is a Coca-Cola with Pop Rocks in it. Okay. But why would he ask for a stomach pounder and a Coke?
To wash it down.
So he wants the Coke with Pop Rocks and a Coke.
To me, a stomach pounder is a burger. That's what a little boy would want.
I thought it was a sandwich. I thought it was like a grilled cheese,
You need something with meat in it. You need something to pound your stomach.
Yeah, right.
Grilled cheese goes down a little too
maybe
easy.
like a fucking hot sauce grilled cheese or something.
Either way, she's like, get the fuck out of my room and stay away from my fucking naked Polaroids that I send to.
Yeah,
men.
don't bring any more of my naked Polaroids.
Right. I make money off of those. Don't give them free to that captain.
She's the first OnlyFans.
Yeah. That was the original OnlyFans with Polaroids. People don't know that.
I mean, she went to the radio and she, advertised her OnlyFans.
So Nick, I guess he knew these guys who were lost on that trawler. Remember, people get killed. We also forgot to mention that also the guy below decks got killed as well.
Yeah. Everybody got killed on the boat, and one of them happened to be Nick's friend. And Nick apparently operates on these ships or something. He's some kind of coordinator.
I assumed he owned this boat. I don't know.
He was somehow friendly with the one guy. I think his name was
probably
Al.
just scrapes barnacles off the boat. He's
that
Nick,
might
for
be
Christ's sakes. He's no Dan. He's a Nick.
Yeah. So
Elizabeth is just hanging around. She's like, I got nothing better to do.
Again, she's slumming.
Right.
She's feeling out this fisherman life. She's like, God,
giggling to herself.
Your
like,
dick smells like fish. What do
you
do? Are you a fisherman or something?
This is going to make such a great chapter in my book.
I'm middle management fisher. All right? Get it right.
Yeah. I don't gut the fish. I just put them in the box.
I just put them in the box, okay? So she's slumming along with them,
right?
Because again, she's doing this for her zine. She does not care about this man. She's laughing at his penis. She's laughing at his jokes.
And he's feeling it. So he's like, "I'm gonna impress her. Get me Ashcroft in his boat. We're gonna find that trawler." And they go out on the boat. Meanwhile, we meet Mrs. Kathy Williams, played by Jamie Lee Curtis's mom, Janet Leigh, who was
the
woman who got stabbed by Norman Bates in the shower.
Really? That was
Yes.
her. Wow.
And she is in charge of the big celebration. They're going to celebrate the 100th anniversary, April 31st. They do it every year.
Centennial.
Yeah, and so excited. She's like the councilwoman or some shit. She's got a very rich white lady job.
Oh my God. And oh my God. I'm sorry to spoil this, but we're about to learn that this is a town that has refused CRT knowledge. All right? You don't teach about the bad history of our town. We only go forward. Everything we did in the past was fine. It was great. We're the best county
the
ever.
victors write the history books.
Exactly. So let's not worry about the past.
And not only that, they got a big statue, which we never see. We never see what the statue is, but they're going to reveal this big statue that's going to celebrate the 100th anniversary.
I think it was Father Maloney's great-grandfather. What was it? Patrick Maloney?
Yes.
I think it was him enjoying a bologna sandwich. Patrick Maloney's bologna sandwich.
Works for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so they're driving out. Her helper, her aide, Sandy, who we saw earlier, car alarm went off, which you got to be making some money to have a car alarm in 1980. Who'd want to steal a 1980 car?
And a small-town chauffeur, like assistant, she's got to be making bang.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Small town assistant.
Yeah.
6 figures.
Definitely making money.
And we learned that I guess she must have inherited her wealth, Kathy, because she's married to the captain of the boat, the trawler, and we know those guys are broke.
The Seagrass?
Seagrass.
The Seagrass is the name of the boat. So we know now 2 people are concerned about the whereabouts of this boat.
Right.
Actually, Kathy doesn't give that many shits about the boat. She's got the Centennial to worry about.
Right. That's her big thing. Every year. That's all she does. She's the fucking rich white lady who has the one charity event she does once a year, which is the biggest thing in the world.
Yes. She is more concerned about her dog, who was upset last night during the witching hour. She's, oh my God, my dog was barking out the window. I didn't know what was going on. Your husband was lost at sea. Yeah, but my dog was upset. Yeah. She is rich white lady. She was at the pizza shop begging for that Italian sauce.
So they're going over.
What is that called when that's your kink? When you just want people to pour Italian sauce on
marinating.
Marinating? Even though it's like the Italian dressing?
Oh, we talking about dressing?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant dressing. Oh, is that what you're talking about in the breadstick story?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, dressing.
Yeah, it was dressing.
So what is it?
It was a vinaigrette.
It was a vinaigrette? It's that act's just got to be called vinaigretting. Vinaigreting.
So they're driving out to see Father Malone because he's going to give the blessing to the Maloney bologna sandwich.
The Maloney bologna. The Patrick Maloney bologna.
This one, it's in Ragecraft. It's just a statue of a sandwich, but it's a delicious sandwich.
Yeah.
Bologna. I haven't had a bologna sandwich since I was like 5.
Did you ever fry that shit?
No. I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Because it's hot dog, right?
I guess pretty much.
That's what I've heard. I never ate bologna.
Yeah, I when I was little, I ate it a lot, but it's been a while.
Yeah. It's every time I get sandwich fixings.
It's very much a little kid sandwich.
It is.
It's after PB&J, it's bologna.
Like when I go and get a fucking deli meat and a sandwich, I could eat 2 of them, and I'm like, I'm so done with sandwiches again. So that's just
you have a built-in intolerance,
bias toward a sandwich.
Yeah, bigotry.
Yeah.
Bigotry, I would say.
Yeah, I'm a sandwich bigot. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I still love that the fact. We're talking sandwich. You could not help me
Tune in
understand.
Wednesday to really get a taste of his bigotry.
I just hate that you couldn't give me a basic sandwich you just enjoy.
I just said Reuben, you shit all over it.
I agree
You'll
with
hear
you.
this on Wednesday.
But then I did shit on the Reuben sandwich. But I did
did.
agree that it sounds like a good sandwich. I just don't like it.
It's a great sandwich.
But never mind.
I could go for one right now. And so, yeah, they're going to see Father Malone. She's giving the blessing to the Maloney.
Patrick Maloney.
And so we get the most weirdest jump scare I've ever seen. He's got to be lurking to want to scare her because he's like in a corner or something, and she's walking, and he just leaps out, like, hello, grabs her.
Oh, wow, that was loud.
Yeah.
Scared me.
Grabs her shoulder. It's Father Malone. And
this was totally an AEW interview segment where there's just somebody lurking in the background for no reason whatsoever. This was not necessary, John Carpenter.
Just another little scare. Because this movie's not really scary, when we're being honest.
Yeah, it really isn't.
So he mentions this book he found last night.
And Sandy immediately is like, wait, you found this book? What time did you find this book? Well, midnight, my dear.
Witching hour, of course.
Oh, of course. The very second the witching hour is owing.
After I got that loser Bennett out of the church.
God, you guys know this Bennett character? He fucking sucks.
Do you need somebody to do your lawn service and you don't got to pay him?
Yeah.
I got a guy for you.
Tell him you'll put it on my bill. I've been stiffing that kid for fucking months.
So we learned.
Chump.
He's like, you're not going to believe this. There's some history. It must have been written by a non-white person. Because it's really makes us look bad.
Yeah.
And I got to read it for you. So he reads the story. This is where we learn about what are we calling them now?
The fowls, the fools, the ghouls, the fomblins.
The fool ghouls.
Fool ghouls.
The fagulias.
Foglins.
Fogarties?
The Fogarties. I like that. Okay.
There's a bad moon rising.
Yeah.
And so, we'll call them the Fogarties.
The witching moon is the worst moon, so it is the bad moon rising.
And
the fog moon rising.
So the fog, he's like, okay, there was this, he's like, my grandfather, this is his journal, and he tells this story. There was a leper colony out on the island, whatever island, it's like right off the coast of where they're at.
Oh, right.
And these guys.
Penitentiary 3.
These guys came to the town elders, our ancestors, who are totally righteous, Christian, God-fearing white people.
White.
Which means they're pure.
White.
Like the color white.
Yes. Missionary sex, no shrimping.
Right. And so he's like, yeah, they say they give the town elders gold for just a parcel of land. It's a fucking acre of land that's like 5 miles north of where.
That's it. We'll fuck off. We'll be by ourselves.
Not in my backyard, said our church elders. So we learned, by the way, for brevity, we're going back and forth between what's going on with Nick, because they find the trawler, and Father Malone. We'll give you the Father Malone story, and then we're going to give you the Nick story.
We'll do our best to make this all cohesive and everything,
Right.
but we do cut in. Carpenter made this his most minced up fucking baloney of a script ever.
Yeah. There's baloney's the theme of this movie.
It is. It's actually the theme of this movie.
Baloney. Phony baloney. Patrick Maloney's. Now we're learning about Patrick Maloney's phony baloney story.
Yes, because as his son, his grandson is about to tell us, this whole fucking holiday we're celebrating is baloney.
So, like every white person, when they see gold, their eyes get big, and they're like, I have to have that gold.
Yeah.
And so they did was they took the gold.
We're back 100 years in the past, everybody.
1880, April 30th.
April 30th,
on the 30th day of April, 1880. We'll take your gold. Sure, you can have that land. And they're like, oh, great. So we'll give you the gold, and then we're gonna get everybody on our ship, and we're gonna come, and it's great. And it sounds great. And then they set up that campfire, that little campfire that we heard about in the beginning of the movie.
Sea captain. Yar.
And they made them crash on the rocks, and they had best of both worlds. They didn't have those nasty lepers in their backyard, and they had all the gold.
Just like Tim Murray. They're like, don't bring in your freaks, and you're weak, and you're unwelcomed. Right. None of you are allowed. We're going to murder you now.
You'll hear on Wednesday my opinion. We're not going to go into it. We're already 2 hours into this movie. We thought it was going to be an hour episode.
No, of course it's not going to be.
Yeah,
I didn't think we could be fired up this much this late in the evening.
We're worried about you. We want to protect you. It's the witching hour.
It is the witching hour.
It's probably not the witching hour anymore because we're over an hour.
This is right.
But okay, so that's the story. And he's like, no, I cannot. He has one moment of clarity. I guess he's not drunk for a second. He's like, I will not bless that phony baloney Patrick Mahoney statue. You're going to have to find somebody else. I am ashamed of what my grandfather did.
Yeah.
And they're like, but we're white. That was her only excuse. Like, we're white. We can do what we want.
Hello. You cannot teach CRT in this city. We are good white Christian families.
I never saw one person of color in this city. So
never.
Maybe they're right. I don't
never.
know.
There has been no off-whites. It's all been white. Right. Blue eyes, blonde
I mean, we
hairs.
have since we're in California, we do have the Mexicans come up, pick all our produce, and then we kick them back out.
Then we kick them right back out. Miguel is a nice man, but he's not allowed here.
Right.
He cannot move in. Not in my backyard.
Right. So that's the end of their story. We go to Nick. They finally find the seagrass. They get on board. And they're like, "What's going on?" All the gauges are busted because remember the Fogartys hate glass.
The Fogartys definitely hate
anything
glass.
that creates a reflection. They hate,
right?
And which makes sense. We'll get later on, but and it looked. They're like everything's covered in salt. He finds a beer can, takes a swig. It's salt water.
I love this because Nick is channeling Dan. He immediately goes for the booze.
Right.
It's
like an open can.
It's an open.
They can't be putting like cigarette butts in there.
We're not going to be confused like a can of orange juice compared to a bottle of orange juice where you need a twist top, the safety lock. He just goes right in. It's a can.
And Nick is like, "Are there Zargthas here? Why is everything damp?" Like everything is, but it's like you would think the boat capsized. There's salt water everywhere. He's like, the deck is bone dry, but the fucking engine is swamped in seawater.
Yeah, exactly. Seaweed, seawater, salt, everything degraded, corroded, all that shit just eaten away by the fucking sea, which we know is unforgiving. And of course, Liz is like, whoa, back the fuck up. You're going a mile a minute here. What's the fucking Zargtha?
And he's like,
I got no time, babe.
He's like, I got no time. So I'm going to tell you a story about my youth.
And they sit down. They're in like the underside. They're underside. They're just looking around. It's dark. The electronics are all blown out. The glass is all blown out.
The thermometer is blown out, yet somehow it's registering 20 degrees.
Right.
Because it gets cold, too, when the Fogartys come.
When the Fogarty is coming.
Those old Fogartys.
You notice because of how cold it gets. And he's just like, oh, let me tell you a time from my ute where the bad Fogarty rolled in.
Right. My dad, we have a long line of trawling in my family. My dad was a trawler, and he found a abandoned ship, or so we thought. And we're white people, so we started ransacking. We started griffing the place. And he found a gold doubloon, Spanish coin from 1865. And he brought it home to me. And he said, hey, look what I got for you. And he put his hand out, opened it. There's nothing in there. It magically disappeared. His dad's faking him out. He's kept the balloon for himself.
Of course.
And just as he's about to finish the story,
he took that to a more sophisticated city and got himself a blowjob, or maybe a half and half, or maybe a full fat.
He sucked. He fucked.
He probably got a full fat, I think.
Yeah, a full fat.
A full fat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's when you fuck in a bath of milk.
Wow, that's luxurious. You need a gold doubloon for that.
That's right.
And just as he's about to finish that, tie that story up with a nice bow, the last guy falls out with no eyes. Why? Because the eyes have reflections.
That's right.
So they have to gouge your eyes out. They don't want to see any reflections.
Interesting.
And that freaks Liz out because she's like, I'm into some freaky shit, but not dead bodies.
Yeah, I've looked at your fucking corpse of a body, you fucking husk of a meat man.
All right, what's Stevie been up to? Well, she's getting ready for the next shift. Are there other people DJing, or is there's the only time we have the radio on is at night, in the middle of the night? What kind of weird fucking town is this?
Right. It's interesting because it's a town. It's like Jaws town, where it's a vacation town, and yet Stevie is running a 20...
I don't even know if it's a vacation. I think it's just a fishing village or something.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. So her business is just to be like the lighthouse keeper, to help the sailors, but she also does the midnight because apparently fishermen are working all night.
Oh, I guess that does make sense then because you would need a lighthouse at night.
Right.
So, yeah.
So she's kind of doubling up. She's doing the lighthousing, but she's also doing the radio.
Yeah, so I think because she probably always wanted to do radio, but she took the job at the lighthouse. Well, she bought the lighthouse, we learned. And then she's like, hey, I can
dual income.
Yeah.
Dual income. She's an entrepreneur.
I can multitask.
This is a very libertarian
city. I can save people's lives. I can play tepid jazz. I can do that.
And then she's like, I also did want to see how far I could put a man into the fog.
Right.
And she's...
No, I trust Stevie. Stevie wouldn't do that. Liz, piece of shit. Stevie's a good egg.
Liz is definitely a piece of shit. Do you think she's in this movie just to counter Stevie?
Yeah.
To make Stevie look better? Because she is a mom. She cares about her son. But she also cares about people, the sailors.
And she got great boobs.
We don't even see any kind of cleavage in this.
But hey, their marriage must have been on rocks by the time Escape from New York comes out because they're on full display in Escape.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So
I'm not knocking Jamie Lee Curtis. You've seen Trading Places. She's got some nice tits too.
Yeah,
just a battling boobs.
Why did she have that nude scene with Dan Aykroyd?
She had no choice. I don't know.
Is that her version of Dan, aka Nick?
I don't know. Maybe she suggested it. She's like, "This. I gotta come back. I have a fog idea." And then she,
I got a foggy. I got a foggy for you, dicks.
So she's heading. I guess she's got the little driftwood. Maybe she thinks this would be a good decoration for the lighthouse. You know,
got a little driftwood.
Yeah.
Nick's got a little driftwood.
The wood is drifting. And she, like you said, we just learned she can multitask. So she's playing some KAB bumpers. You know, like you're listening to KAB, and she wants to get the perfect one.
Was she just listening to the bump? I thought that's what was playing
when
she was in her off hours.
She was listening to them because all it is a series of different versions of the bumpers.
So she's so fucking strict about her radio show. She needs to get the perfect bumper.
Yes. And who knew there's literally 50 different versions.
Think about this. In the time we live in now where everybody wants to be a fucking global sensation on the TikToks or the Facebooks or the YouTubes, she is trying to be a local hero, and she's worried about, this is KAB.
She actually paid somebody out, like probably in New York, to come up with these.
Yeah, a guy with the voice that could counter her own.
Yeah.
Because his voice was good.
Yeah. And so she's just listening to them. She's getting everything ready for the night shift.
Right. She's getting her coffee all ready. Of course, she's got the fucking pour over and everything. She really needs those grains to meet the water and drip in there.
And she just puts the driftwood on top of
some speakers right next to the taper.
I don't know what they're called, but they don't do it anymore because everything's digital. But they were like little tapes that you would insert like in a radio station.
Oh yeah.
And she puts it on top of that, and she's got the tape recorder right next to it, listening. And then all of a sudden, you alluded to it earlier, we see the water just pouring out of the driftwood.
Yeah, and we see the name Dane, and then in a minute here, we're going to see that the name Dane switches.
Right. Well, first, the water pours down, and it hits the tape recorder. It just touches it. As you can tell, this is like spiritual, supernatural, because we made stuff tougher in 1980. That's getting touched by water isn't going to make it. And it starts saying weird shit. It starts fucking, the albatross around your neck and all this shit. And then, like you said, Dane becomes 6 must die.
Oh, that's what it said?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. So, of course,
and then it bursts into flames. The driftwood bursts into flames. She finally sees that. She's like, what the fuck?
She hits it with the old fucking extinguisher and everything. Right. That cools it all down. She looks back at it. Dane.
And all the water's gone. And the tape recorder's working again. It's playing the bumpers.
That's right.
So that freaks her out because it says 6 must die, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
And we've already lost 3.
She was freaked out by the fog. She's really understanding. She's a woman who kind of is like, am I going to play with the fog, or am I going to be a legit radio woman? So she's, she knows the idea of the fog. She's like, I'm not fucking around with the fog anymore.
Right. And
I know this is real.
She immediately calls Andy and says, you little shit, what demonic driftwood did you bring to me? Stay the fuck off the beach. Don't pick anything up. Stay away from that captain.
Don't leave the house. Don't do anything. Just fucking stay put. I'm sending a babysitter over to the house.
Mrs. Colbretti.
Mrs. Colbretti.
The mother of Marion Colbretti. Cobra, of course. Because he grew up, and people don't know that, but Cobra grew up in a little fishing village in California.
He didn't get that far from the tree.
That's where he learned how to eat pizza.
Exactly.
Everybody in Antonio Banderas Bay eats pizza with scissors.
They
go, scissor me, daddy. And that means cut your pizza.
If you get the extended cut of John Carpenter's The Fog, you will see the townspeople at the Pizza Hut they have there, because it's the only sit-down pizza restaurant in existence, and they all cut the
Cobra
pizza
is an unofficial sequel to The Fog. People don't know that.
They don't know that. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing. But when you listen to Cobra when he's driving from scene to scene, he listens to KAB Stevie.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's the magic of my
Just think about this. Everybody's listening, because everybody who thinks they're going to do an action podcast, they do Cobra within the first few weeks.
Yeah.
We waited like 6 months before we did Cobra, because we're so good.
Right.
And they don't even know the connection between John Carpenter's The Fog.
They don't. I know somebody's going to be putting on the IMDb right now as we're talking. But you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Saving lives like we always do. Okay, so, she's like, do you motherfucker? Nick, they got the bodies.
I just want to point out, we get to see her go from full panic to serenity now.
Right,
serenity now. She puts on the sultry voice, gets back on the mic, like nothing happened.
Here's some more weak-ass jazz. So now we're back. We're at the I guess the hospital. We're the morgue of Antonio Banderas Bay.
They have recovered the body, just his friend, from the boat, and they have taken it to
the eyeless guy.
The hospital,
they're
to get an autopsy.
And like Elizabeth's just in the room and shit, like just hanging out.
Again, she's writing for her zine. She wants the greatest fucking story. This is a weird spook. She might even be thinking maybe some days there's going to be like a format where people can tell like true crime stories and they can download them at will, whatever that word means. She is also the originator of true crime podcasts.
So, and we'll call him Phil, the friend. I don't think he even had a name.
Phil's great. Let's go.
He's
with
just
Phil.
like he sees that and he's disgusted by it. So he's like, Nick, can you come out? Can I talk to you about something?
Let's talk private.
And he's like, what the fuck's going on? His lungs are full of salt water. He has silt and algae underneath his nails.
I saw your friend Al like 3 days ago, perfectly healthy. And like everything about him was healthy.
Is a body that would have been underwater for 30 days at least.
At least.
What the fuck are you talking? He drowned, yet he's bone dry. What the fuck is going on with this shit? And then all of a sudden Nick's like, "Ooh, it's getting chilly in here." Oh.
And we get a.
Do you have a sweater?
We get a cut over to Andy, and he's talking to Miss Cobretti,
yeah.
And he's just like, "Miss Cobretti, there's a fog coming for us." And we know what that means from, the last night.
Well, we know what it means from the title of the movie.
That's right.
And so, oh my God, they're going to kill little Andy. Are they? Because it's 3 down, 3 to go.
Right.
There's 3 more bodies.
We're back in the hospital, and we see that, of course, Elizabeth had been left alone.
She's just scribbling in her thing. She's got her Walkman on, listening to her like goth music or some shit, whatever.
New wave.
She's
80s.
a creepy girl,
She's a creepy girl, yeah. Maybe The Cure.
Maybe.
They started in the 70s, so they would be. Yeah.
Maybe some Bauhaus. I don't know. Susie and the Banshees. We know our goth people. All
right, Murray, let's go ahead and talk about our favorite goth music here.
Clearly AFI, which unfortunately I'm going to have to see in a couple weeks.
My favorite is Baloney House.
Baloney House? Baloney House is dead. So we get, John Carpenter's like, I think this is a horror movie. I guess I got to give another scare.
I guess so.
So we see the hand like drop off the table. While she's oblivious. She's in the foreground. He's in the background.
She's got her muffs on though, like you said. So she can't even hear the guy getting up, the guy walking.
Grabs a scalpel.
I'm
like, is this Inga from fucking Phenomena? Because she knows her way around a blade.
She does.
And then he just stumbles toward her, and then just collapses as he's about. He doesn't kill her; he just collapses as he gets to her.
This is why, and so of course she shrieks out.
Right.
Nick and Phil run into the room, and they look down. They're like, "What the fuck happened? What are you doing with his body? Are you fucking into that kind of shit? Are you some kind of weirdo? Did you say boo to that corpse?"
And then we look down, and there's a 3. He wasn't trying to kill her; he's trying to warn her. I don't know how, but I don't know how he came back to life to warn her, but he did, and it says 3 because
Murray, the corpse is in the fog for her somehow.
Oh my God!
That's why he didn't go.
This is a hard up. It's probably 10-1, like men ratio to women, like 10 men to 1 woman. So these guys are hard up.
Yeah. Oh, in this little conservative town, of course.
Because it's like working in an oil refinery. It's a guy job.
Right.
So, yeah.
Man, that really.
So they're so busy jerking it to fucking Stevie, and it all makes sense now.
That it really does.
And he tells you about men. It's like Stevie's hot. She's the only woman in town, but she's got a kid. I don't want to be involved with that. But they don't know what that means because they didn't see the driftwood. So there's like 3. What the fuck?
What the fuck is this? All right, so we're going to this night.
There's a town celebration happening in the middle of the night. Happening at midnight. There's a celebration.
You're asking for trouble. Come on.
Kathy is so drunk with her white lady, rich lady power. She's like, we're going to celebrate at midnight.
She is. She's totally
I decide I'm in control of the Patrick Mahoney phony baloney statue. Somebody make a meme of that, will you? And, so.
That's definitely how all the best memes were made. Somebody did something and said, please make a meme out of that.
Yeah, I pretty much ensured no one's going to do it now. And she learns, like, hey, we found your husband. He's dead. She's like, I'm running a fucking celebration. I don't have time for my husband. All right? Check out my dog. Is he doing okay? Is he sad about my husband being dead? Because I don't care. I have a celebration. John, this is the one thing I do a year is this.
I love this about this era of movies and this time of movies. We don't get to hate a character. We don't get that. We never get the fucking character.
Or if we do, it's like someone who's obviously racist or sexist. It's not just someone. It's not just someone who's an asshole. They have to be like vile.
It's the Green Mile level of asshole where you go, oh, that guy's a racist. That makes me not a racist because he literally is punching a black man in the face.
And I don't like that.
And I don't punch black men in the face, so I'm not racist. That's Kathy's, or that's the level we go to with Unsavory. Kathy is everybody you've seen in your day of life, of walking around the world.
She's a Karen.
She's everywhere. She's Karen. She's everybody.
Yeah, she would leave us offensive comments on our YouTube page because we didn't give her the right movie.
Right. Of course, as we've talked about, we don't have Karens for our show. We have Helens.
Yes.
Fuck you,
and they
Helen.
let us know.
Yeah. What was Helen's gripe with us?
She loved Blind Fury.
Yes.
And a great classic movie, and we were so in love with our voice, which we can't argue that.
Yes.
We've gone on 2 hours already. We are in love with our own voices. That's true.
It's true.
But you don't have to say it. All right?
Don't have to say it.
And it's like, where, and it was all in caps, so she was screaming at us.
Where
is the movie?
I want the phony baloney, Patrick Maloney. Give it
I'm telling
me.
you, that's going to be used in one of those insurance commercials. When you see that, we're gonna
Patrick Mahoney's baloney?
Yeah, because he does those insurance commercials. It's going to be Patrick Mahoney's.
He does Subway
baloney.
too.
Yeah.
So he's going to be
Both
advertising
a
Patrick Mahoney
phony baloney
sandwich, and baloney's going to fall
because
out
it's
of it.
going to be made out of bologna that's not made from animal products.
Yes, a phony baloney, and
they're going to give me the Patrick Mahoney phony baloney.
And you know who's going to be the Subway clerk in the commercial?
Griff. If we weren't so amazing and just didn't come up with this on the spot, I would have made a fake fucking Subway commercial for us.
You know who's going to be the Subway clerk who gives him the sandwich?
I hope not Jared.
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins. That's probably what he's doing right now.
That's so fucking good.
It could be
so
a recently
levels.
divorced Tom Brady.
That's better than a bologna sandwich. Anyway, Steve, back on the
work.
airwaves. Yeah, of course. She's always hard at work.
And she was told by Kathy, you better pump the shit out of the celebration.
Right. We learned that Sandy is also affiliated with radio somehow, or at least she was working with Stevie to try to get, more publicity.
Yeah, because Stevie needs some money, so she's got to get some ad money. So she takes whatever she can get, you know. And so she's like, happy birthday to Antonio Banderas Bay. You don't look a year over 102.
That's right.
And
she brings up the bad news about the seagrass.
Yeah, she says, sorry to be a bummer, but this is out to those guys.
Yep. And so we cut over, because we always cut over to somebody listening to KAB airwaves, and it just so happens to be Nick this time. Yeah. He's
at the celebration. They're in a bar.
Yeah, Elizabeth and him are in the bar, away from everybody else, because he wants to celebrate alone. He's probably spiking that drink, because he's like, this girl's never going to fuck me again. I need to give her a little something to amp her
and he's
up.
Right, because she's like, I'm never going to fuck this guy. I'm leaving town.
He probably snuck a look at that zine she was writing and was like, I don't have a weird dick.
Tear goes down.
The missionary is a good style. You need to be in traditional things. What do you want me to do?
It's the best style. According to Aubrey, it's the best style for toe sucking. She sent me a Kama Sutra thing because she was like, what is Griff talking about? You can totally. And I was like, you're absolutely right. You can totally suck a toe while you're fucking a girl missionary. You get the Griff, you get the legs up. So the feet are at your shoulders.
Yeah. And then... God, I guess that would work.
Yeah. Try it out.
Try it out.
You might know. You might be a shrimper and not even know it.
You might be a shrimper. That's what they said about me and seafood. They're like, you might like seafood. Your mom's just been telling you wrong all these years.
Your mom has told you shouldn't eat seafood?
My mom hated seafood, and she was like, no seafood.
There are people. Yeah, there's people who don't.
Yeah,
like it.
And it took into my adult life before
I'm not. You know what? I don't like lobster. I think it's very overrated.
I know a lot of people who don't like lobster. Yeah. Not that hot of an opinion.
Well, I'm not trying to make it.
It's not like a sandwich opinion or anything.
Well, yeah.
You wouldn't like a lobster roll sandwich? That sandwich.
I might like it if there was a sandwich. Yeah.
That lobster roll sandwich sounds like
Anybody want to
shit.
make me a lobster roll sandwich? I'll try it.
You'll try it. Let's go to the coast.
Okay. So Dan is listening. Nick is listening. He looks like such a Dan without that mustache.
He's just working on fucking Elizabeth's drink, and he's like, you know what? I need to make a call.
Right. He's like, what did you mean by that fog?
Yeah.
And she's like, you're not going to believe this. Because he's like, weird shit happened to my friends when that fog bank rolled in. She's like, yeah, it was, I saw it coming off the coast. I'm in a lighthouse. It was glowing, and it was going against the wind.
It was amazing here what John Carpenter did, because you thought for a minute there, Nick had the clairvoyance of like, wait, am I in the fog for this woman?
Right.
But quickly,
Is he dual fogging? Is he Uther fogging and jet fogging at the same time?
He is.
Holy
That's what's
shit.
incredible about it. And you don't understand this if you don't understand the two different types of fog.
Which is why you need to listen to our Excalibur and Violent City episodes.
Right.
All will be explained.
Right.
And we touch on it on Vice City, which is not Vice City, Vice Squad.
Vice Squad.
Which is coming in a couple days.
Right. You getting your treat, you'll get your trick next
Yes.
week or later.
Well, that movie's about tricks.
That movie is about tricks. That's why this is the treat and that's the trick.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna treat you with some tricks. Wednesday.
Treat you in the trick? Yeah.
So yeah, and she's like, and get this, Driftwood, Taylor Dane. Nick's like, I got to see this shit. We're coming over.
So Nick goes over to Liz and he's like, you might not want to drink that drink, but I'm also going to go visit this lighthouse. Do you want to come with me? And
Sure.
again, she's just going along with the zine story. So she's
Right.
like, yeah, I'll go along
She's
with
like-
that.
Yeah, lighthouse sounds cool. Let's do it.
She thinks that he's going to take her to some and try to romance her or something.
Well, no, she's just like, lighthouses are for dorks.
oh,
yeah,
she
no.
just doesn't. She hasn't grown up. Lighthouses are kind of cool.
Yeah, man, they save you. They save this town.
That's right.
So, I tell you, I would love to have a fucking radio station. I would love to fucking record our episodes in a lighthouse. How cool that would be.
That would be really fucking cool.
If only you weren't wasting all our money betting football.
Hey, man, I'm doing... Never mind. We can't go into that. You did this. You.
Are we going to have to be up on Mackinac? Is that where we would get a nice lighthouse?
We have a lot of shores, so I don't think we have to go to Mackinac.
Okay.
I think we could go more
Are there
local.
lighthouses along Lake Huron?
Yeah,
Lake
I believe
Erie?
there is. I believe there is.
I've never seen them.
Yeah.
And so they go off. And hey, man, we haven't heard from Dan, the masturbating man, weatherman Dan.
So he is our base for what the fog is, because he's not even supposed to be here today, to use a clerk's line.
Look, he's so horny for Stevie. He's like, I'm going to work double shifts.
It's disgusting.
And this is where we see the one black man who lives in town.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting because not only did they make that black man sleep under the staircase in the weather booth, but Dan comes in fully dressed as if Stevie even understands that he's wearing his turtleneck cable knit sweater with the fucking strap-on dong or something.
Well, he's carrying a fleshlight.
Bikini briefs.
He's got a fleshlight
Yeah.
and a lot of lube.
A lot
He's got
of
like
lube.
one of those big dispensers. You see like the ketchup dispensers at like football games, like
Yes.
that big.
That big.
Industrial.
Yeah, industrial.
And he's just like,
He's
oh,
bringing it in with,
Stevie!
he's bringing it in with the hand trolley. And, of course, the guy he's bumping so we could do
Black
this.
guy just rolls his eyes. Oh, my God. I'm just glad I'm off this
Can you
shit.
please clean the fucking dials this time? Like, disgusting.
And he's like, I'm white. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Because I'm going to masturbate at work all day. All night, I should say. So he calls up Stevie. He's getting ready. He's got the pants around the ankles.
I'm warming myself up, my dear.
And then he can't, but then he gets some shrinkage because that cold comes in. The fog bank is rolling in.
He's talking to Stevie. He's telling her everything. Yeah, there's a fog coming in from the southeast.
It's right out my door right now.
Right. And Stevie, usually she's cool, calm, sultry, collect, everything. But this time she's a little rattled. And he's like, oh, are you intimidated by the sounds of me pounding my fucking flesh?
And then he he loses his dick starts shrinking because that cold comes in. It's like the fog is here.
Yeah.
I'm really big.
Right.
This is the fog.
Stevie starts being like, no, I'm really worried. And he's like, yeah, I know, me too. I'm losing my hard-on. What?
And then he hears a bang in the door, and he's like, I'm gonna give this guy a piece of my mind to make up for my dick shrinking.
And Stevie says, keep me on the line. He's like, oh, I'll keep you on the line. He's like, I'll just put the plug in. That gets me hard every time. No big deal. Goes
so
to
at this
answer
time,
the
we
door.
can't wait for the Fogarty to kill this guy.
Yeah. Well, you also know that this guy's into being caught. So him opening the door, him with the knocking.
That was strange how he's literally walking with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know who's at the door.
He's excited. He's like, maybe it's Stevie at the door.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, he's really in the fog.
So, guys, this is
figuratively and literally.
We've all seen wrestling. We all know the jobber match. This is the Fog's jobber match. Dan is the jobber, and he is fully succumbed to is it the Uther Fog? Because he's not violent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just the Uther.
Yeah, he just wants to bend Stevie over.
Right. So right now, if he walked out onto the ocean, he would walk for miles because he is so lost in that fog.
Right.
Okay.
And he opens the door, and thankfully, a Fogarty just gives him the hook. Chunk.
There's a place where you're going, it is hell.
The Fogarty was so disgusted, he gave him the hook in the junk.
Yeah.
Picks him up, throws him out, and says, "You disgust me."
Limp dick energy.
Okay, so now there's 4 down, 2 to go before this curse can be lifted. And so now the town is listening to Kathy's speech. Kathy's been writing this speech since fucking the last celebration when they did the 99th anniversary.
Right. No more will we teach about trans people in this town. No more will we accept the fact that we've ever done anything wrong. We are the perfect community who loves God, who loves white people.
Stevie heard Dan die, obviously, because she was holding the line. So she calls the sheriff, and the sheriff, thankfully, is like, "I can't listen to this shit anymore." So he goes in the bar for a drink.
Yeah.
She's like, "Sheriff, get everybody out of the fog."
Well, he doesn't get that message because as soon as he hops on that phone,
we see the power station, and we see that fog billowing, and all of a sudden, the power to the city cuts out.
So we go over to Nick, who's just arriving at the weather station.
He finds it abandoned. He's like, "What's going on?"
What is going on?
I think he calls Stevie. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't. The power's out.
I thought he was just going over to see. I didn't even know he made a stop at the weather station.
He stops at the weather station just to confirm, so we can all be confirmed that Dan is dead.
Dan's definitely firm right now.
Rigor mortis.
I don't know where Dan plays a role in this, but Nick is definitely firm at this time.
So everyone's like, "What's going on?" Stevie's like, "I have a generator, so I got to get that started."
As we go down with her, wow, I'm in the fog apparently.
Yeah.
We get down there and there's fog starting to billow in under her door through the cracks and everything because they have literally like a 8-plank door. It is a classic like 1800s door that she has for the lighthouse.
It's
made with a house. Vintage?
Yeah,
Antique?
that's what I was looking for,
Vintage.
And she starts the generator, so her power release is on, but she sees the fog.
Her power is definitely on.
Okay, is that a sexual innuendo?
Oh, sorry. I'm in the fog.
Is that double entendre? Yeah, you're seeing double on. You're
seeing
double entendres.
The problem is I don't even know who I'm in the fog for.
Stevie for me.
Is it Steve? Oh. Who is it for me?
Oh, I always said I'm susceptible to the Uther stuff. The Jeff stuff, I'm immune to that shit.
Right, you're immune to that. You're too old for that shit.
Right.
You don't lose your mind. You're not gonna go do a shit.
Well, I lose my mind. The Uther fog, but it's temporary. I can snap out of it.
Exactly.
Quicker. But I hate to admit it because we all know Griff is the sex camel.
I'm a camel.
He can go. And I'm not mocking him. I admire that because I wish you would think almost 50 I would outgrow this shit. No. I'm sex werewolf. I'm just like, ah! And so...
it's the sandwiches.
You're onto something, man. Bread makes dudes horny.
It's all the fucking terrible carbs for you.
Yeah, that's it.
As I say with my beautiful...
Bread tastes so
my
good.
Beautiful loaf of bread.
Bread tastes so good, especially a nice, hot, like fresh loaf of bread.
Dude.
So good. Why is it bad for you?
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Anybody who tells you don't eat bread, fuck them.
Right. You only live once.
Yes.
And so she goes back up, turns the power back on.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
All she cares about is saving Andy because Andy's in Mrs. Cobra. You think that's the safest place to be? The mother of Marion Cobra?
Right. I love this, though.
Did you notice Miss Cobretti had a little matchstick in her mouth?
I did notice that. Wasn't that fucking good? Yeah. That was such a good... John Carpenter knows what the fuck he's doing with all of this. I just love this because characters are concerned about one thing and one thing only. My son.
Right.
You know, she's not, I gotta save the whole time. She does do that.
Yeah.
But it's in the way of
we got your priorities.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's in the way of her helping her son. She is only concerned about that, and I love it. Real motivation for a real human being.
While that's going on, I think we do cut to a scene where Andy's like looking out in the fog. You know, he's like, "Wow, cool." It's like, Andy, you get to your room. You stay. You're too young for the fog.
Yeah, Andy is definitely.
You've never had an erection. You don't know what the fog is.
Right.
Go to your room.
Oh yeah.
Play your Game Boy if they existed in 1980.
So, as we stay in the Andy household, what's Stevie's last name?
Stevie Wayne.
Wayne. As we stay in the Wayne household, did one of the kids grow up to be Wayne? No, that's backwards. Fuck me. So, anyways, the fog is starting to roll in, and a rapping is coming at.
A rap tap tapping.
Is coming at
my front door.
The Wayne doorway.
Never more.
That's right. And of course, she's setting that kid to bed.
Yeah, she's like, you cannot see this. She probably had a date set up.
Excuse me, Murray. I was just going to go that direction.
Okay.
The fog's rolling in. It's not just a fog, but it is also a smog. Because this woman, as I learned in the movie X, old women want dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because women hit their sexual peak in their 40s.
Yes. Here's another thing I learned.
How about this? Did you know who the suitor is? Nick. Nick had set up the date because that's all he could get. And then he hooked up with Liz, who's totally toying with him. And he's like, I don't need Miss Coperetti anymore. I got Liz. She's going to stay here and be my wife.
Is there any chance that Nick is the father of Sylvester Stallone's Cobra? Nick?
Yes, there is.
They chew a matchstick the same way.
Yeah, because what happened was Mrs. Coperetti used to be a teacher.
Yes.
He used to be her student.
Yes.
He knocked her up.
Yeah, he loved danger.
Yeah. So he's like, go to your room. This is grown-up people stuff.
That's right. I was going to say, I learned in my time because I used to work in a retirement home. And I used to come in and all the help would tell me about the stories. Yeah, we caught Ruth in, Stewart's room.
Yeah, and I heard STDs are rampant in retirement.
They really are.
Because it's the boomers. They're like, I don't need a rubber.
What they're incredible at, the old folk, because I used to have to deliver meals sometimes to the rooms. This was all like a big apartment complex type situation where, sometimes the people wouldn't feel well enough to come down the room, so I'd go deliver their food. They are incredible at hiding their lube. Because the room is just packed with lube. The ketchup dispenser.
They need it. That's all dried up.
The ketchup dispenser of lube. But these people just want to fuck. And I've heard some of the old dudes talk about some of the ladies, and they're just like, I can't wait to get that fucking woman in my room. And I was 18.
They don't want peaches. They want prunes.
I was 18 at the time, so that was the funniest fucking shit I was hearing. Is these old dudes just
Griffin, I could eat prunes all night long.
You hear me, Sonny? Do you eat the prunes? And at the time, I hadn't eaten a prune. So I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Please tell me more.
Prune's not that great. A lot of fiber, but not that great.
Anyways.
So Mrs. Coperetti gets fucking iced. She gets killed by a Fogarty.
And we see that the fog is closing in.
One
Andy's
left.
locked into his
One
bedroom.
left.
And you're thinking he's going to be the last one.
And the fog starts rolling on their door. We're getting scared. And then Nick shows up, busts the window out. He's like, I was going to fuck somebody here tonight, I think.
Yep.
Grabs Andy, yoink, grabs him out. They jump up in their little Sanford and Son truck.
Yep.
And we get a nice scare where, of course, Liz is like, I can drive. If your stupid towny ass can drive, I can do it. Mealy gets stuck in the mud.
Immediately. The shadowy figures are moving closer and closer and closer.
We're from the Midwest. We get snow. We know you ease your way out.
Easy.
You don't fucking floor it, idiots.
She's a rich girl.
Yeah. Mattingly probably drove for her.
Exactly. Mattingly is endless, by the way. Mattingly, what the fuck is your... One day we'll get your story.
Mattingly, you're eternal.
We'll do a tippy-tap on you, Mattingly.
So eventually she's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm a rich girl. I know more than you.
I'm a rich girl. And she stamped on the gas and somehow got out. Because the world caters to rich people. They have their own judiciary system. They have their own fucking ethics for living. And they have their own economy that we don't get to see.
So they get away, and they go. They're heading. They're listening to the radio. Stevie's guiding them.
Oh yeah, we got over to Stevie, and she's guiding the whole fucking town. She's doing her apology to Stevie. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. I got to do this, and she couldn't get there anyway, so it makes sense. So she's telling
Kathy's
everybody.
pissed off that she didn't get to give her speech. Like, I want to go home, Sandy. Drive me home.
Yeah.
So they get in their station wagon. They take off.
And now Stevie is telling everybody the fog is fucked. You guys need to stay away from it. It's heading north down this street, west down that street. She's guiding everybody, and everybody is lit. Well, we have 2 cars.
Get to the church.
Yes.
I guess they figured this is some kind of demonic thing, so the church would protect them.
Right. Well, it's at the edge of town, so she's like, just get to the fucking church. That'll do you. So they run in, and they get a nice jump scare by Malone again.
Malone, who like you said, is a horrible person. He's convinced he's going to be the 6th victim. He's just like, it's got to be me. I'm the most important person in town.
I have a collar. I don't fuck women.
So he's bummed out about that. He may not be the 6th victim, so he's drowning his sorrows as usual.
Yeah. And everybody's piling into the room now. We got Kathy, Sandy,
Nick, Andy, Liz.
Yeah, they're all piling in there. Where can we go? Where can we lock ourselves in? Where can we be safe without windows? Let's go to the room with the windows then.
Yeah, so this is I see where you got like they're zombies because this is a very Night of the Living Dead type scene.
Yeah.
You see hands like breaking in windows, grabbing hair.
Yeah.
And shit. Like, why is everyone right next to windows? We learned from Burial Ground you don't go next to a window.
It's full on zombies. They're
right.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Michael from Burial Ground is also in the church, and he's like, "Mama."
What was weird was that he comes from under the priest's desk.
Yes, what was he doing under there?
I don't want to talk about it because he even had a string.
He comes up. Why did he have Malone's underwear? Why was he sniffing it? Why was he saying it smells of death?
Why was he in chains, too, that happened to break their way, break free?
And he has the journal, and he says, maybe the answer isn't here. And he hands it to Kathy. And then we learn there's a little bit more to the story. I guess some of the pages are stuck together.
Oh,
what was sticking them together?
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to.
Let's not talk about that.
We learned that Father Malone actually had some shame. The one person in this fucking town had some shame. Not too much shame. He did keep the gold, but he hid it, and he made it into a crucifix.
He melted it down to hide his shame into a crucifix, something he could actually,
use. He's like thinking. He's like, what could I do to hide my shame yet would be useful for a church?
Right.
But he hid it. He hid it in the wall that the book came out. Apparently, he didn't see that. It was like, was it a Simpsons episode or something? It was like, look, there's more here, and they like dusted off some more from
it was insane.
Like a curse.
This was like full on, like John Carpenter. We know he loves video games. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he just played the Castlevania video game because about
5 years before it came out.
Yeah. Of course,
he got the Japanese shit.
Exactly.
First.
So they start pulling apart bricks out of the wall, and like Castlevania, a ham falls out.
Well, yeah, Bennett did a horrible job.
Yeah, and then the fucking crucifix, gigantic
Mr. T level crucifix.
Yeah, exactly. That would go from this Mr. T's chin to his cock, and so of course they call it the Mr. T cock cross.
Not to be confused with the Patrick Mahoney phony bologna sandwich. And they're like, we'll just give it back. No problem. That's right.
They were looking. I'm looking for Drake. Hello? He does his John Edwards impression where he closes his eyes, covers his face, and goes, John, I'm looking for... I'm not
looking for Drake. That is...
A name with a D?
No, Drake is the Canadian rapper. He's looking for Blake.
Oh, he's looking for Blake?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it rhymes with Drake. A B, and Blake steps up.
All the ghosts, the Fogartys, are in the room, the church now. He's like, here it is. Sorry. Blake grabs the thing, the cross. All of a sudden, I don't know what this was supposed to be. The cross starts glowing.
I think it's supposed to be like electricity, where when it's hitting you, like you just can't like release yourself from it.
And at this point, I guess because he's such an egomaniac, Blake's like, it's got to be me. I have to be the sacrifice. I'm Jesus. Jesus.
Yep.
I'm giving my body and my soul up to Blake.
Right.
And then Nick's like, no, you're not. Grabs him, pulls him off. And then there's like a boof, and then they're
smoke.
Gone.
Yeah, everything. Just everybody gets knocked down. Everybody's gone.
The fog just rolls back out into the sea.
We see that Stevie is having her own fucking moment in the lighthouse where a guy got in and hooked her like in the shoulder.
Yeah, she climbs up to the very top of the
always
lighthouse.
Go for the roofs.
Always safest place.
Safest place.
And then she gets like there's like a ladder to go up there. So we see the one Fogarty walking up. We're like, okay, she's watching that. Thankfully, she had some big-ass chunky heels, so when she slid on the roof, she caught the fucking ladder.
Oh, I didn't catch that, yeah.
And of course, this is a horror movie, so of course there's another Fogarty behind her.
Yeah,
and he hooks her with it, and then she slides down, and she's ready to die. At least my son is safe in the church.
Right.
But that's when Father Malone saves the day.
Exactly, and everything
like every white man does, and then the fog flows away.
Right. So
Stevie's like, I think she gets back on the waves. Like,
she just gets back on him.
Looks like, because she's a pro, man. Even though she's got, because the hook went all the way through Griff, so she's going to live.
That's right.
And she just says, like, hey, this is your buddy Stevie. Here's some tepid jazz for you.
She warns the ships about the fog. If it's lighting, stay away.
And then we get a scene. Everybody just fucking files out. Father Malone's like, I had to be the sixth victim. I'm important. Whoa, man. And then Blake's there. He's like, you are the sixth victim.
He's in God fog.
He's in his own fog.
Is that his? Well,
he's cocksmogging himself.
Oh, okay. Are you saying that God isn't real?
And that makes sense. Well, of course God's not real. This is Halloween, Griff. This is about celebrating Satan, all right? God's not real.
I watch a lot of fucking satanic movies, as we heard about, but man.
And so, yeah, he's cocksmogging himself because he can't. He's like a vow of celibacy, and he takes that seriously.
Right.
So he has to cocksmog himself.
Right. Except for Michael.
And thankfully, Blake kills him in the end.
It's weird that all of our horror murderous kids were named Michael. Is that just like the priest's preferred child to have their way with?
What are you talking about?
Michael Myers, Michael from Burial Ground, Jason, of course, was named Michael Jason.
As we know, because we know a Michael.
Freddy Krueger is actually Michael Freddy Krueger.
Michaels are creepy people. We know that. We have a friend named Mike. So there you have it, people. It's a little extra special thing we decided to give you. I mean, I'm glad we had fun doing it, because we were dreading it. I was like, this would be nice to do.
Like I said, we didn't know if we wanted to do it, and then we woke up and literally, do you want me to send the picture I took this morning? Because the fog rolled in on Detroit, and we were just like, we have to do it.
I was walking my dog in the fog. Yeah. It was foggy. So it had to happen.
Is that what happens when you go in the fog? You walk your dog?
Walk your dog in the fog.
Is that what helps?
It does.
Because at some point, we need to help people get out of the fog.
They say how dogs can see like ghosts and other things that we can't see.
Yeah.
They can see the fog. They can see what's lurking in the fog.
So what you're saying is that when you take your dog on the walk when you're in the fog,
I mean, we're getting literal. The fog is a metaphor,
right? Of course it is, but I'm still saying you said it yourself. Yeah. Dogs can see ghosts and shit. They can see when you're in the fog. I'm trying to say, I think your dog is guiding. I don't think you're walking your dog at that moment. I think your dog is walking you.
I don't know if Ava's that smart, but
Ava is definitely that smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for listening to Halloween. I hope you all have fun. By the way, Halloween does not end for Griff and I, because tomorrow night we're going to go see Suspiria, Dario Argento's Suspiria on the big screen with the band Goblin playing.
Not Ghouling Goblin. Just Goblin.
And then a few days later, we're going to see The Godfather's Satanic Metal Merciful Fate. First show in Detroit in like 25 years.
Holy shit, I forgot that's coming up.
Yes, Saturday.
Oh, boy.
We're going to have to record and then go to the show.
That'll be good.
So we're worshiping evil nonstop. We walk the left-hand path 365.
That's goddamn right.
Thanks for joining us for Halloween. And I don't know. Do we have a sign off? This is just the G&G Halloween special. This isn't technically a tippy tap. This is not a regular episode.
No, this is just like true fucking treats.
Right.
True treats.
Keep it spooky.